Hey, look, it's Craig.
Craig, I missed you so much. Oh, Craig. These guys have been making terrible puns the whole time. It's driving me crazy.
Let's have that be the cold open, just because that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome everyone to another episode of Regiment on the Run. Is this 15 or 16?
Oh my gosh.
I forget.
No, it's okay. We'll just get the AI voice to say the right number.
Yes, totally. I totally know exactly what number episode we are on. Definitely. Anywho, so last we left off, the gang had a bit of a problem with Wasty. Side note, they no longer own Wasty. Not even in joint custody. I'm sorry. You lost your child.
Nope. We just sold him off.
Exactly. And now he's suing you for back pay, but that's a different thing.
Good luck with that, coach.
And child support.
What you two don't know is Terry went ahead and paid it while you guys were fighting.
It hasn't happened yet. Terry, stop using time powers.
Indeed. So,
Look,
you
man,
giant-
Terry's just excited to see the golem at the end.
Well, in any case, you guys are here at camp, and it is about time for a check-in from the CRT. Because, after all, there are things to report. And also a bunch of injured people that were apparently just grouped up. I don't know, they were just, chilling out over by the logs.
Oh, that was the rogue.
Yes, that was the rogue and the barbarian. And it's still a miracle that everyone survived. But, I forgot to move all the tokens, so whatever. Point is that you have a report from the CRT coming right up. And it is Farn, who is knocking on the edge of the tent, blatantly walking past Ert to give her report to the adults.
Terry does ask what there's to report.
All right. Farn steps in and says, well, we did a little bit of scouting around. There appears to be a castle down south that we passed by on the way here. We didn't get all that much information on it the first time, but it appears that it's owned by some local lord who's rather eccentric and not a particularly good leader from everything that I've heard. But aside from that, there's also an organization up north that appears to be controlling some sort of border. Now, here's the thing. That organization would probably ask us to do something if we wanted to cross the border, given the amount of heavily armed people that we have on hand. But there is also a way around it if we were to take a long and circuitous route that would put us on a road with several other factions, including, well, several who seem to be reinforcing the war efforts against the Empire. They might not be exactly friendly to us. I'm sorry I don't have better news. It's a shame we can't just go across the lake, but we don't have a boat.
I mean, I can go across the lake, but you losers don't have wings.
As you're so fond of reminding us, Zan, I'm still working on that. The propulsion systems just haven't been miniaturized enough. And also they keep scorching our legs.
Terry turns to Zan and asks what he thinks.
Well, the best way is probably across the lake.
Or just
We haven't-
barges in. Anyone seen my mug?
Literally just stepping on top of Farron's square, and Farron is just like, okay.
York, you let Erd in again.
I just want my mug.
Sorry.
Or point at Toad.
He's slipperier than a greased weasel, I'll tell you that.
Weasels.
That's the weasel grease.
We have any weasel left over? No, the rogue blew up all the meat, didn't it? Dang.
Make
York
Toad give me back my mug.
Terry's kind of ignoring what's going on with Ert.
I got it back.
Erd,
Toad waves
What?
his little mushroom. Toad is going to wave his little mushroom sword and just yell out to Ert that the mug is not OSHA compliant.
Or just looks at him and's like, I don't know what's wrong with those things, man. They're not any sort of compliant.
hey Erd,
Yeah?
you're from the boat murder family, right? How good are you at building boats instead of murdering boats?
Or just looks at him. That sounds like elf talk.
We need to cross the lake.
Ah,
Well, according to a vote we did earlier, the highest vote was actually the border crossing.
Am I looking at this right? No, we're crossing the lake. I thought.
Yes, you're crossing the lake.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Becky.
I thought Toad and Arnold was their own vote, and then the border crossing was also a separate vote.
We're doing everything on that list right now.
Yeah,
We're using the border crossing and we're screwing the border crossing. You decide which order.
Well,
Anywho,
all I can say is that going over the water is for chumps.
You want to go under the water?
I mean, sure, we're probably going to have to dig down to the Underdark and just drain the whole lake, but they have it
Harry
coming.
just like we're not going to drain the lake into the Underdark.
Ecological disaster not approved.
We could do a bridge.
With what? Like Earth Bridge?
Yeah.
A bridge might be our only option. How are we going to make a boat big enough for the army?
Well,
Yeah.
technically, we just need to give Zan or starts reaching around in his bags. I know I have a dimensional portal here somewhere.
Would it be big enough for an army?
I mean,
well, it needs to be big enough for the turtle or tortoise.
Tina.
Bird stops. You're right. It's impossible.
Farron actually holds up a finger and says, "That's actually an important point. Because we have two crystals now, Tina and Katie, and one of them is actually attuned to earth elements, we could use one in order to gather up supplies and create earth, and use the other one to keep them into a stable structure. We could use Tina as both a platform in order to perform runic magic, and also as an energy source, and a test bed, because after all, Tina is very heavy."
Wait, everyone shut up. I have an idea. Does anyone know if that is a turtle or a tortoise?
It's definitely a tortoise.
It's a
I
tortoise.
no longer have an idea.
Okay.
He's just holding in a large rune.
That still might not be a bad thing to have,
Reduce might help.
especially if supplies start to run out. But I will say that the supports necessary for that kind of a bridge would be, well, we'd have to make them very, very large in order to support a stone bridge. We need other materials as well if we wanted to be more economical about this.
Urt's just sitting there like, well, the other option is a stone boat.
We're probably not going to get much out of a stone boat. I'm sorry, but I don't think you have shape water.
Yeah.
What?
Does Earth have shape water?
I have all sorts of shape water.
Well, a stone boat is not impossible, but one big enough for the army would be.
Okay.
Can we shape water an ice bridge and cross on an ice bridge?
Does anyone remember how you reinforce a dwarven mine with crystals?
Using the word remember means we knew at some point.
Well, the point is, you infuse mold earth into a crystal and a self-sustained rune and use it to reinforce the mine. We can do the same thing with shape water. We could just march across the bottom of the lake.
I seem to remember that when you did some tunneling expeditions with that theory, we had quite a few cave-ins.
Yeah, but that was a real cave-in. This would just be water.
Yeah, that's worse because we'd like drown.
That is true.
Ert's like, I swear. Ert just taking his catalog. Do we all have bubble head? Or bubble breathing?
Wait, yeah, did we get water breathing? We don't have water breathing, do we? I don't
Do
think
we have
do.
enough water breathing for the army? We gotta remember everything's at the size of the army.
Well, Ert can make.
I don't want to get water on Tina.
You want to get water on Tina. So so how does shape water work? Does shape water can we use it to freeze surfaces? Or
Yes,
solidify
you
them?
can.
Okay. Can we could either try to make an earth bridge across the lake and create an ecological disaster by messing up the lake, or we could do an ice bridge across the top and then thaw it as we leave.
I mean, you don't even need an ice bridge. Just give me enough shape water runes, I'll hammer them into Tina. We just follow her across.
DM, will that work?
That would actually work.
I'm gonna
Terry.
need so many souls.
We have souls in them, right?
I have been summoned.
Terry, do you is that amenable to you using shape water in Tina?
We're just going to turn one of our crystals into a giant shape water broadcaster that flattens and hardens the water.
Terry doesn't see an immediate problem with this one, just that he hopes the ice, when it freezes, is thick enough to carry everybody.
Baron actually holds up a hand at this. Now, I am not an expert on everything ecological, but I do have quite an understanding of structures and engineering. It is kind of my trade, after all. And the thing that I would suggest with this is that relying on shape water would be exceptionally risky because if there was even a small flicker in the power output, then things would go very badly. And also, our runic energy is rather low. We only have 22 out of 70 units at the moment.
Ert looks around and goes,
True.
"You know what's not very elfy? Rafts."
Well, rafts could work, but the thing that I was more thinking of is that we have an unbroken road going from where we first landed on the continent all the way to here.
Yeah.
And, well, if we could find some way of making a bridge across the river, or the lake, then perhaps that would be something useful to other people. Perhaps we could even find some way to get paid for it. York
Nobody
actually
gives a shit about other people. Bubbles like, I do.
York comes in and firmly sets his massive hand on top of Ert's head and shoves him backward 2 feet. And York's just gruffly says, "Yeah, I actually been looking into that whole thing. A lot of people don't like having to go around that stupid border thing. We would actually be able to make a profit if we actually built a bridge."
Profit, huh?
We will
Can't-
need the best building material for bridges known to man.
Are you going to suggest stone?
Oh, yeah, stone would work. Ert was going to say witches.
Witches.
Build a
Great.
bridge out of it.
Oh no, he's Monty Python now. We went from Engineer to Monty Python.
It's true. And I have so much regret.
So Ert is all about building a giant arched Roman style bridge through everything.
And Fern is exceptionally pleased at this idea. Her eyes are sparkling, and Zen, you get the impression that this is one of those moments where Fern's enthusiasm might have to be checked, which is unusual.
Baron,
Yes, Zen?
deep breaths. Deep breaths.
She takes a pause, inhales deeply, exhales, and then says, "I still think it would be a good idea, but I take your point. I shouldn't think of too many decorations and interesting flourishes to put on it. We should at least."
Fornications.
What? That's no.
Yes. That's what it's called.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
He-
Farron, don't fornicate all over the bridge, please, Farron.
I only promise to try, but we should at least have a guardrail.
That is valid.
Harry pipes up, going, "We only need the very basics. So whatever will keep it safe and whatever will keep it stable."
Also, Farron, I don't want to break your heart or anything, but you just agreed with Ert.
He pauses and then looks extremely downcast. It's just like, I'm sorry. Oh.
Well, we're still doing the bridge. It's fine. We're still making the bridge. But I just wanted you to be aware that you and Ert, I'm probably going to hold this over you for the rest of your life.
I understand, and you're right to. She puts on a dour face and starts walking away and says, "I'll draft up the plans, but I don't think I'm ever going to recover from this shame."
As she goes off, Ert turns to everyone else is like, sorry to bring this up, but we're on loam here.
We're on what?
Loam.
Like the Earth?
Yeah, it's dirt.
Zara actually points to the ground, leaning in to be seen around York, and says, "He's right, actually. This is all very soft and wet earth."
I dug a hole earlier. It's dirt, then more dirt, then more dirt, then clay, then more dirt, then clay, then some sort of living bone creatures. I just sort of sealed that one up. Then more dirt. Anyway, you go down far enough, there's rock, but it's really far.
Zara hooks a thumb over her shoulder and says, "If we're in the landscaping business and trying to find good building materials and whatnot, we should probably ask the people who actually know the land."
We could just dismantle that castle that one person is using instead of, because it's like, it's only one person in it. We just take the castle and use all the stone for our bridge.
York holds up a finger and says, "And a bunch of people working in the castle whose livelihood is based around the castle."
They could become bridge people.
Ert looks at them. Yeah, they were those weenies with families, remember?
Uh-huh. Imagine having a family.
Yeah.
Said every edgy D&D character ever.
Sarah folds her arms, looks at Zan, and just archly says, "Yes, we all know your stance on that."
Anyway,
We call him Edgebird.
Edgebird. No one cared who I was until I put on the beak. Or wait, no.
The sunglasses.
The sunglasses, yeah.
Shades.
Terry just sits in the background like, I have wonderful, loving parents.
So, like, anyway, if we're building a bridge, we need some organization here.
What's the nearest source of stone that's not a castle that I'm not allowed to destroy?
York actually holds up a scouting report from Pep, because Pep is apparently not here right now, just having a chat with Boingo.
Or Pep.
And York says that there are several possible quarry locations nearby, but the main thing is that there seem to be some wild animals in the region, and some of them appear to be raptors. So there are a lot of questions as to whether a certain new member of the squad might be able to help out.
Ert points at Bubbles. She speaks lizard.
No. Arnold,
Comes up.
hey, you got any of your family in the region that you know about?
Arnold scratches his.
Are we still on that?
Arnold scratches his snout a little bit and says, "There are signs of a couple of raptors in the near area."
Are they related to you?
Well, they're raptors. A werewolf isn't a wolf any more than you're a wolf.
I am a wolf. No, just oh wait. Well, I know. He didn't he have raptor familiars at one point?
Yes, he had a whole bunch of raptors that fought with him during the time that you thought he was your enemy.
Yeah. Well, he was my enemy.
Yes.
I didn't think. I knew. No.
You knew.
So, but the reason I ask is like he had familiars, so I'm wondering if they're his familiars. If those raptors are his guys.
Arnold shakes his head and says, "No, we were just allied out of convenience. They showed deference to me because of my werekin blood, but it takes a little bit of effort in order to get animals of that type to actually recognize you as the alpha."
Yeah, you gotta recognize the alpha. That is important. Yeah. Anyway,
And it helps.
Out to establish dominance.
Zan flips a silver coin into Arnold's hand.
Arnold catches it with gloves. He has gloves even while in raptor form.
Next time, Zan will aim for his skin somewhere. Anyway,
Arnold looks over his shoulder and says, "I could probably head on out there, but I admit that I'm feeling a little bit out of place in the team. I mean, after all, you haven't even done a whole orientation thing. You just been kind of force marching day after day after day."
I mean, did you see the barbarian and rogue? Come on.
I did see the barbarian and rogue, and unfortunately, I was on the outskirts of camp when that all went down. So sorry, I didn't contribute as much as I maybe should have. Is that why you keep paying me 1/10 of everyone else's fee?
Oh no, I pay him full fee. I don't pay him only 1 silver. I pay him 10 silver. It's just like 1 gold or whatever. He gets the same amount of pay. It's just all in silver.
He just assumes that he's getting less because it's all in silver.
Arnold.
Yeah.
When we're done here, we're gonna have you sit down with Farron, and Farron's gonna explain how money works. Okay?
Ert's looking at Arnold and goes, "This guy is 8 int.
Aident?
8.
I'm confused.
This guy's int is 8.
Oh,
He doesn't talk like he has 8 int.
At these words, both Zan and Terry get a headache, and Toad goes over and bonks Ert in the face with his mushroom sword.
Ert's just suspicious that this guy's, a spy.
because he's talking too eloquently.
He's talking too eloquently.
Sure.
Why do you assume that everyone with less than 10 int has to talk like a dunce?
Because Ert has 19 int and he talks like a dunce.
Wait,
That's Ert.
it's just the way he was raised.
In any case, so Arnold does say that he, does feel like he hasn't been quite up to speed on the whole, getting with the squad thing. And at that, York actually holds up a hand and says, "On that note, actually, if we were planning out stuff in order to get the bridge underway, gather supplies and whatnot, there's a lot of things that we could assign to the regular soldiers and have Terry and Zan and Ert all think about logistics things. But we could also take that time in order to do a bit of an introductory and training session for Arnold here. Because after all, like, there's a lot of soldiers, there's only one of me. I could do the whole introduction thing, and the soldiers could do things like scout and haul equipment.
Sounds good to me.
They're just looking around. It's like, okay. Like, are you
So
guys gonna leave
while
now?
Terry's going to ask, so while we're working on the bridge, anybody who's not working will be training.
York shrugs and says, that was my take on the situation.
I have no complaints with this idea.
Sounds good enough to me.
Like, Erd has already left. He's just wandered off with Fairn, and they're making architectural diagrams.
They're just starting to build a bridge.
Yeah, Erd's like, have you ever heard of a force crane? You are gonna love this shit.
Baron
Terry's
is
asked
slowly becoming Ert's best friend, and it's also worrying her at the same time.
Yes, it is amazing.
Terry asks York if he's going to be the one doing the training.
York gives another shrug and says, Farron's going to be a bit busy. Pep is a good scout. But,
Bubbles is raising her hand behind them. Everyone else is avoiding eye contact.
Think you could find someone that might be willing to trade Toad?
York thinks about that, then gives a nod, and he says, you could take him in. I mean, after all, we're already doing one training session. We might as well do another.
Just don't feed him anything weird.
It's just Terry going, you can feed him anything that involves
No.
rotting refuse.
Oh.
But brains come to me for approval first. I need to know I need to know who he's eating.
And I just imagine York thinking of the dragon. And going, yeah.
Just remembering when Toad puppeted a dragon's body and made it dance.
Behind Toad's like, I was the knight.
Like Perry said, he needs to know who Toad is eating.
So, with that, we are going to divvy things up a little bit because we have about 5 different pieces of this. We are at the lakefront. You've gotten the scout report. You've made the general plan. And now Zan, Terry, and Ert are going to actually figure out the logistics of this, and they are going to be off to the side. So
we are building a bridge.
You are indeed building a bridge. And I'm going to have you guys roll a couple of things just to see how well planning is going. Because there's always the chance of spectacular failure.
We love spectacular failure.
All right, so this is going to be an investigation or, let's see, a history check in order to remember bridge building principles. Farron has a +5 in both of those.
I believe I have a +7 in both of those.
Let's have Ert roll with Farron helping.
Okay, Ert remembers bridges are definitely a thing. And he's able to he's able just to roll off the names of all the historic dwarf bridges.
Okay, great. Can you build any of those?
Ert looks at his 11 and goes, yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay, great.
So, so please imagine that with Farron's help, Ert ends up basically making a plan for an actually incredibly tasteful dwarven-style bridge that is made to last centuries, but also with some runic carvings and whatnot that can all be done with nothing more than a single cast of mold earth.
Huh. This is the most impressed I've ever been with Ert before.
Like the fact that this is actually passing is baffling me.
Well, I mean, it's a nat 20.
Yeah, that was just to remember that bridges existed.
Oh boy. But the thing is that your architectural plan and your actual execution are going to be a bit different things. But Farron and Ert come up with a very good plan.
Look,
because
Ert has pulled out etching of an ancient dwarven bridge, and then you just copy and paste it 30 times.
And then Farron goes over and, actually cleans it up.
See, Zan was going to be impressed by what Ert did until that description happened, and now Zan is no longer impressed with what Ert did.
Yeah. Aaron has to go and update the diagrams. No. The legs have to go all the way to the bottom, not just to the water.
Oh, no.
I was just going to put shape water runes on them.
A floating bridge.
Yeah.
That's always a good idea.
Well, that was his idea for a boat.
Uh-huh.
Just giant disc of earth, then mold water under it.
In retrospect, asking somebody with the last name Boat Murderer to make a boat was probably not the wisest thing Zan ever did.
It was a flying boat.
All right. So, with that, then we're just going to cut over towards York, Arnold, and some other members of the CRT as they do a little bit of training. This is out of character going to be the situation where Arnold picks some of his skill proficiencies because he does have a character sheet. He does have things that he can do. He is a 5th level barbarian, and he still needs to pick what skills he's going to be invested into in order to be a proper benefit to the team.
Have the rest of the CRT been leveled up to level 5?
Probably not, because I got distracted while I was in the middle of it.
Let's pretend they are. Okay. Great. So are we picking his proficiencies, or have they already been picked?
We are picking his skill proficiencies based on what the team finds necessary. So, what sort of thing do you think would be good for Arnold? Arnold has 2 existing proficiencies, and those are in survival and acrobatics, because he is a very nimble person and he's very used to living outside of polite society.
No, Arnold opened for me too.
Exactly.
Yes. So we can kind of lean into his raptor whispering and give him some animal handling proficiency.
He is pretty good at wisdom, so that would be a not bad idea.
And then stealth. I don't know, how many are we giving him? How many proficiencies are we allowed?
2.
You're allowed to give him 4 proficiencies.
4. Oh, 4 total, including the ones he already has, or 4 new ones?
4 new ones.
Oh shoot. Okay. Let's make him deception, persuasion, religion. No, just kidding. Intimidation. Perfect.
Athletics would probably be good.
All right. Do you want animal handling, athletics, and stealth so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he come with nature?
He did not come with nature. He's negative
nature
1
is
int.
intelligence based.
He's a negative 1 int. Maybe perception.
You could do perception.
It's all scouts really need, scouts in general should have perception. So yeah, give him perception.
All right, and that is 4: stealth, perception, athletics, and animal handling.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got a skirmisher here. All right, so that is Arnold's skills once he begins integrating with the team. He is not as knowledgeable about book learning subjects as some others are, but he is indeed very sneaky, very stealthy, good with animals, good at surviving out on his own. He actually has a lot in common with Pep. It's just that he's stronger than Pep. He also has a lot in common with Zera. It's just that he's weaker than Zera.
He's probably faster than both of them, though, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. Arnold has a base speed of 50 feet.
Yeah. Slightly faster than Zan, I think.
It is also noteworthy that even though on his class sheet he has a Path of the Totem Warrior with the totem of the Eagle, he kind of has 2 totems, because when he is in his Were-Raptor form, which is, the equivalent to his Barbarian Rage, he also has damage resistance to everything that isn't silver.
Nice.
So that's the whole thing for Arnold. You may get acquainted with the sheet if you like, but that is his little training montage. He demonstrates his skills. Pep and Zera both take a shine to him. York laments that the only brain on the team is still Farron.
Zan has a brain, it's just not the biggest brain.
Well, in any case.
Also, Pep has kind of a brain, right? Isn't Pep a little smart?
Pep does have some survival skills.
Okay, 1 second. I need to know his density and speed. No, I got speed. Density and wing surface area.
You're still working on the bridge, or
No, I'm trying to see if this guy can fly. I'm pretty sure at 50 feet around, if we just put wings on him, he'll fly. He can take off.
The sad thing is, you might not be wrong. Just give him a hang glider. He
Look,
can
look,
just.
I want you guys to imagine that Baron keeps on talking about putting wings on Arnold, and Zan just keeps on being no, because Zan is no fun.
But if we put the hang glider on him when the bridge was almost finished and sent him off to the other side with a bag of runes.
Ah.
So now that he's leveled up his skills, what now?
So now there is something to be done here because the soldiers are coming back to report in that they haven't had much luck finding good quarries and places that have good working stone. But Arnold, he knows this kind of region fairly well. And what's more, if there are raptors around, then him being on the team to go do some scouting and hunting might be a good idea. So this is where we're going to transition over into Arnold's first actual thing where he goes out and does stuff.
It's called a mission, Numbers.
Well, yes, it's a mission, but he's not getting paid for it. No, I'm kidding. He's totally getting
Quest
paid.
then. When you don't get paid, it's a quest.
Mm-hmm. No, the CRT doesn't use nerdy names like Quest. They use cool names like Mission.
Okay, so Arnold
This
is being.
Dungeons and Dragons. Geez.
I'd like just 1 second. I'd like to imagine the soldiers come back and say, "We've checked everywhere but that way. That way's full of raptors."
And Arnold's just like raising his claw and just says, "That sounds like my job."
Yeah, we'll send him that way.
All the soldiers nod. They're like, "Yes, that's why we came and told you. That's why you're included in this conversation."
That's the only reason he's included in this conversation.
Oh boy. So, shall we transition over to our first little outing with Arnold? And yes, Bubbles is inviting herself along no matter what anyone says to the contrary.
Bubbles is like, "Raptors? Those are lizard person puppies." Bubbles just makes sure Arnold promises he's not allowed to hurt any of the raptors.
Arnold just looks back at Bubbles like, as long as they don't hurt us.
Away!
And I will ask, Becky, do you want to play Toad as a tag along or do you want to play someone else as a tag along?
I don't know.
Toad's sheet is almost finished, so you could just have him tagging along as is.
True. I think he's just missing. What did you write down? Not write down yet. A book.
The only thing that he's missing is some skills. He has to pick 4 skills as part of his training.
Like proficiencies,
Okay.
you mean?
Yeah, 4 skill proficiencies. That's the only thing that he's missing.
You got to be proficient in history because he's a fungus.
Yeah,
Probably nature as well because he's a fungus. What else?
medicine.
Well, that's for later. We're doing that later as part of a Toad training montage. This isn't that montage
I
yet.
thought we were doing. Oh,
We're not
I
doing
mean-
the Toad montage yet, but yeah, I'll go with Toad.
my bad.
Okay.
Toad makes sure to don his little green hard hat.
Ert's bag of runes has been updated, and Bubbles is carrying it.
Okay, just
Oh
one moment.
no, Bubbles is carrying the runes again.
All right.
Arnold doesn't know.
She's just walking next. First of all, she thinks Arnold is cute.
Arnold is oblivious to this.
Yes.
And also, Arnold doesn't know Bubbles well enough to know that her carrying a bag of runes is a terrible idea.
No, she's just constantly talking to him about the runes. He's already regretting that she has them.
I don't think he is. I think he's just like,
Like, wait,
oh,
is she talking
okay.
to me?
She must be in charge. She must be important or something because
Yeah, she's talking a lot.
She's talking a lot. She's holding all these runes. Probably an important person. I should probably listen to what she has to say.
Okay. Now, just one moment. All right. There you go, Toad. You got a wonderful little sword.
Wait,
All
why
right.
does he need a sword?
Because he has one on his token. Like, come on.
That's a mace, obviously.
Oh, boy. All right. So, in just a moment, I will have the map ready. I need Toad in his OSHA hat. It's mandatory.
Yes.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and put a couple of the CRT on here just as escorts. Let's have Pep and York. All right, so let's flip over to this new map. All right, hopefully it's loaded in for everyone. Y'all are down here.
So after hours of just talking to Arnold about the amazing stuff of runes, Bubbles just stops and is like, "Oh my god, puppies!"
Arnold will stop her from going too far forward, I think, because he realizes that raptors are dangerous.
Yes, they are. And there are quite a lot of human remains around here. You have apparently wandered into their den. Meanwhile, Pep is just like, I knew I should have done this before, and tosses a rope around Bubbles' waist, cinches it tight, and then hands the end of the rope to York.
Bubbles' offering has already been made. They are too late.
Wait,
The
don't you
rap-
get a roll for that?
What, I need a roll to summon Turkey Leg now? Huh?
You need a roll to do it before people stop you.
I want, just for shits and giggles, I want Toad to use his little mushroom and bap and use his special spell to see if the knot around Bubbles' waist is secure.
Oh no.
Please go ahead and press the cast button.
Sorry, what special spell is this?
He has an OSHA spell.
He does.
Okay, come on, give us the spell description, Becky.
Read it out loud.
All right. Cantrip OSHA. You test the structural integrity of an object by gently striking it with something, sending magical pulses through the structure that allow you to determine whether the object is structurally sound and safe to be around. Objects that fit within a 5-foot cube are examined instantly. For larger objects, the spell must be continuously cast as you sweep the spell over every square the object covers, at a rate of 1 5-foot cube per action. When the spell concludes, the caster is immediately able to point out any areas that are unsafe either by accident or by design, as well as determine how people might get injured by interacting with the objects. The spell does not inform you of how the objects can be made safe, or make the caster aware of the exact function of the object, but casting the spell on the entire object will give the caster advantage on skill checks to discover this information.
So I'm imagining Toad casts this, and the rope lights up in nice, healthy green, and Bubbles is just yellow.
Yes. Yes, she is the at-risk portion of it. Toad deems that the rope is structurally sound and safe to be around.
And Bubbles is neither.
But is the knot okay?
It's not okay.
Is it secure? Is it safe?
It is secured and it is safe.
Toad is okay with this, because the rope is containing the problem.
So what's happening with the raptors while Arnold is watching them?
The raptors are circling around in a clear predatory behavior. Arnold is aware that they are trying to gauge how fast you run, how protected you are, and how much meat they could get off of you.
So does Arnold have an innate communication abilities with raptors?
Yes, when he speaks, he can actually say words that the raptors can understand, and when the raptors speak to each other, in raptor growls and hisses and that sort of thing, Arnold can understand exactly what they mean.
Okay, so Arnold's just gonna ask them like, "Hey, what's up? Like, what are you doing? What do you want? What's going on?" He's gonna try to figure out what's going on and see what the raptors are after. If it's just like, are they only here for food? Is this where they lived? Did they come here recently? Like, just basic information.
Go ahead and roll me an animal handling.
Here we go. I'm really good at the. Well, he's actually decent. I forgot I had the sheet open. I'm sorry. Give me one sec. I had Zan's sheet open instead of Arnold's sheet. Animal handling. Press the button. I got.
Good thing it wasn't with advantage.
Disadvantage. I got a 14.
14, and so Arnold is able to tell these raptors are rather hungry, although he does note that there are some reasonably fresh remains nearby too, and those remains look like they were part of a tiny little camp.
Have they been eaten?
Mostly yes, although apparently they couldn't get through the skull.
Arnold, do you point out the tiny little camp?
To Bubbles?
Just in general.
I mean, no, because it seems fairly obvious. He wouldn't point out something that's like just right in front of you. Like, oh yeah, everyone can see this.
Okay.
uh, so and the raptors seem like, well, you said they were circling and predatory. When Arnold starts communicating with them, do they seem receptive to him or hostile?
They seem a bit surprised. They were not expecting to have someone come around who would actually talk to them. They don't seem inherently like hostile, but they are wary, and they're quite aware that even creatures that can talk don't always have wild creatures' best interests in mind.
Okay, pulling back, bigger picture here. Why are we here again? Is it just to clear these guys out, or are we looking for stone? Or
You are looking for quarryable stone, and
Yeah,
it
this
seems
whole sector has been unscouted because raptors.
exactly.
okay,
Also, it's a swamp.
So we can kind of do whatever we want with the raptors. The main goal is to try and find a rock quarry.
okay, Arnold's gonna be like, hey, you guys want to trade information for food? I want to know about what's going on around here, and if there's stone around, and in return, we'll give you some turkey.
The raptors seem a little bit skeptical at this. If you have turkey, wouldn't you have just eaten it? And one of them sniffs at the summoned turkey leg that has just spontaneously appeared on the ground, and they are all very confused as to how they didn't smell that before.
Magic turkey.
Bubbles just holds up a rune of summon 50 turkey legs at Arnold.
Like for me to grab.
Yes. It's like,
Arnold
you
grabs
remember
it.
how these work, right? You take it, and then you press your claw and envision turkey leg.
Arnold grabs it and just activates it a ton. Just keeps pressing it over and over and over and over again.
Like, imagine, the guy at the strip club, throwing dollar bills. That's Arnold with turkey legs.
Yeah, he's just making it rain turkey legs, doing the hand motion and everything.
Oh, God.
Making it rain. Strip club turkey legs. Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Yes, I am doing this, and you can't stop me.
I was trying to do it myself.
There needs to be exactly 50.
I cannot promise 50.
Yep, that's exactly 50.
Oh, boy. The raptors are just boggling at this, like, what the fuck? They clearly have no idea what the hell to think of that and how you're doing that. They are clearly very hungry for this, but also they are suspecting that there is a catch.
Arnold just tells them the catch is don't attack us and tell us about the surrounding area. And then you get this food.
All right, in that case, let's have Arnold roll another animal handling.
Oh, wait, raptors don't howl. 17. I'm really glad these are at a disadvantage because I keep getting natural ones on the disadvantage roll.
I know, right? It's weird. So Arnold is actually able to negotiate with them. The raptors seem appreciative that there's actually something reasonably sensible going on, and they start transporting a whole shit bunch of turkey legs back to their den.
They didn't know. They have to tell us the information before we give them the freaking turkey legs. Hello?
What they know is rather limited, unfortunately, because they mostly focus on things that are actually edible, not just rocks. However, they do know that there are several stone outcroppings out here. Oh my God, Bubbles, you're on a leash!
Bubble is straining at the leash. She really wants to feed the puppies.
Your leash is like 20 feet. Get back there.
The puppies are feeding themselves. So at the very least, did they agree not to hurt us?
Yes, they did agree not to hurt you.
Okay. Arnold's like, okay, mission accomplished. Let's go scout.
Gotta handle something real quick.
Oh, wait.
So while he's doing that, Toad, what are you making of this?
Well, Toad is sitting there watching all of this go down. He doesn't quite understand the whole dealing that's going on, but he does know that that rope is really nice and secure, and York is very strong.
Yes, York is very strong. Also, hi, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Wait, is Toad noticed
Toad's
that
gonna
skull
look at
yet?
Toad's gonna look at Pep and just ask, why are we asking animals where good rocks are? Animals don't think about good rocks.
Pep gives a shrug and says, well, they do live here. You'd suspect that something that lives here would know something about the natural terrain, but if we are looking for rocks, then maybe we should change our point of view a little bit, huh?
Toad just nods and thinks and just looks over to the raptors, and they're living in a den.
They are living in a den, yes.
Toad suggests asking the raptors then if there are places they've tried digging but have to stop because there's a big rocks that they cannot dig out.
Pep blinks, then steps up to Arnold and relays this idea.
Arnold will go ahead and try asking that.
Okay, and this one is not going to be an animal handling. This one is going to be a survival check.
Survival. 24.
24 indeed. The Raptors actually are happy to talk about this, or more accurately, complain about this, because apparently they chose a nice flat area with a whole bunch of nice sight lines so that they can chase down things. And then, of course, it turns out that it's nice and flat because it's very stony and sturdy and doesn't weather easily. They point you around to a whole bunch of rock outcroppings where they tried to dig dens and they just couldn't. It is a bitter complaint that they just keep on harping on. They're just like, they are clearly just absolutely thrilled to have someone that they can just whine about all this stuff to.
Bubbles, with the rope around her. First of all, Bubbles can't understand this. Only Arnold can, correct?
Correct.
Arnold, what do you relay?
Arnold will relay like the basic information of like, oh yeah, they were trying to dig over here and they couldn't get through because there's too much stone and it really ticked them off. And but looks like there's a lot of stone over here.
Bubbles' eyes well up. We can help them.
Yark just grabbing on the rope and just Bubbles.
We can take the rock away.
I mean, we are gonna take the rock away. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Because we help people.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
Sure.
Usually we just do neutral.
Arnold looks to York and Pep, confused.
Arnold, as you look to York, York is choking back on the leash that he's put on Bubbles until Bubbles is right next to him. And York leans over to Bubbles and says, Bubbles, listen very closely. Are you listening?
Uh-huh.
If you are doing anything to help these raptors, you are doing it under direct supervision of your new commander. And York points directly over to Toad.
Oh, great.
Toad waves with his little mushroom sword.
Because Toad knows how to make things safe and secure, because you would not want a new den to crush these poor creatures after we leave because you had done shoddy work, right?
Well,
Bubbles is a bit sulky because she feels like she has seniority. And Toad got promoted above her. Just because she constantly fucks up.
Yeah, only for that reason, not for any of the others.
Also, she's annoying.
not the fact that Bubbles is a completely different department compared to Toad, who is the safety supervisor.
Any case.
But yes, but Bubbles thinks this is the best idea ever, that we are going to help these poor little lizards by removing their rocks.
York whispers something to Pep. Pep whispers something to Arnold. And that something is, just go with it. Just try and tell Toad what's best to do, I think. Because honestly, none of us are particularly architectural or whatnot. So you might have the best idea of what's actually good for them. Maybe we could work something out, but definitely don't let Bubbles take the lead.
Okay.
I believe they are asking you to help survey raptor dens. rather than
Does
just go back to base
Arnold
and report rock.
does Arnold know enough about raptor dens to survey raptor dens?
Well, considering how well you rolled on that last survival check, and considering that Arnold is a were-raptor who has canonically lived alongside raptors on many occasions, yes, he does, in
Okay.
fact, know a great deal about raptor dens.
So wait, did we just change this from collecting stone to harvest stone for bridges to like creating habitats for the local raptors?
Well,
Well,
I think the
the,
thing we all need to address is how will this stone get back to Bridge?
We have a
Because I know how Ert's going to do it.
we just mold earth rune.
Yes, but you don't just
Yeah.
do it all one at a time. No, no, no. You focused about 150 of them like a giant laser, and you just yank all the rock and the current hex through the ground like a giant tractor beam.
I mean, Arnold doesn't know this. Arnold wouldn't try to stop that necessarily. So Pep asked Arnold to roll with it and to make sure that Bubbles doesn't do anything stupid,
uh-huh.
right? Okay. Arnold will do that. He doesn't know Urt well enough to be concerned about the stone tractor beam. He's just gonna
Okay.
try to make sure Bubbles doesn't do something stupid.
Okay. So, Arnold, you may go ahead and roll me another survival. And Bubbles, using the standard Empire soldier sheet, may roll to do something stupid.
I need to stop bringing up the bubble sheet because it doesn't have anything on it.
Uh, Arnold got an 8.
Oh dear.
Oh boy.
I will say that Pep assists, so go ahead and roll again.
Well, shouldn't Toad assist by going and booping it?
Either one.
Like, I imagine Arnold is literally digging a burrow right now.
Which one does Becky prefer? I don't know.
I don't know.
Then in that case, Toad is overseeing larger logistical concerns. Pep is the one doing the assistance. Roll survival again, Arnold.
Roll survival again. 21.
21 indeed. So, with Pep's assistance, Arnold is actually able to employ the runes in order to get several really, really good collections of stone quarried out, and also, incidentally, also make a very, very nice den for the raptors, too. And now we cut over to Toad. Toad, who is in charge of the logistics of the situation, bringing shit back to base.
Yes.
So, Toad, how do you safely do it?
I'm just sort of imagining that when we leave, this place is going to look like the Wile E. Coyote cartoons with the giant towers. The raptors will be on top of one of them.
Of course.
I was thinking more like the way people kept saying that ancient Egyptians moved giant stone blocks, with all the logs. But it would mean having to harvest logs.
And we would just mold earth everything.
Mold earth everything.
Look, Bubbles is just sitting here with this giant collection of every rune we have, so you guys can use them. Bubbles is very hurt no one is using them.
Yeah, but Toad has also learned from Terry that you
You have to
don't.
be OSHA compliant.
You got to be OSHA compliant. You cannot trust Bubbles. She is one giant yellow flag.
And also Bubbles raises the question, where are we building the road to get to the lake? Should we just build it through here?
Well, canonically, when you move the crystal, you're building the road behind you.
Yeah, but we need to get from the center of the hex to the coast.
I actually did move you guys on the world map. I did not actually show you, and onto the coast of the lake for this particular instance.
Aww.
So, if you wanted to, you could canonically say that you routed the road past a den of wild animals who are known to eat people.
Bubbles votes for bringing civilization to these poor, unenlightened raptor puppies. So Bubbles is sitting there telling everyone, we should just build the road here. And then everyone can come say hi.
What does Toad say to this?
Toad does not like this idea.
It does not sound OSHA.
No, on top of I don't think Bubbles would also agree to this idea because it would be destroying the habitat of these poor creatures.
Oh god, that's a valid argument. Okay, so how are we going to get the stone out of here then? Like industrial quantities.
We'd have to take a lot of our actual working bodied soldiers.
Like, 1 second. Back at camp. So, first of all, are we reporting this?
Well, I mean, Arnold is because that's what he was told to do.
Yes, but the tortoise.
That's a good idea.
No, we could just load them up with bags.
The tortoise is so large, we could just either load him up or
Or
tie
put a sleigh
ropes.
behind him or something. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to escort like a group of 30 Empire soldiers out here to do stone mining into bags. And the entire time we need to deal with the fact that the raptors are just watching.
Just watching
And there's more
menacingly.
and more and more just constantly. I mean, there's this giant pile of turkey. And let's just say that Empire soldiers do not always bother to finish the less tasty bits.
Yeah, there's always some part of the turkey that a single soldier doesn't like.
So now we have this giant raptor infestation.
And Arnold is just like, being tasked more and more by Pep and York to just keep an eye on them and make sure nothing stupid happens.
And is Bubbles allowed to feed them turkey legs?
That's up to Arnold. What does Arnold think?
I mean, Arnold doesn't really see why Bubbles is trying to feed them when they're feeding themselves currently. But Arnold just shrugs and says, like, as long as you don't hurt them.
So yeah, Bubbles is just happily feeding turkey legs to them. Arnold is playing what, gamekeeper?
He's kind of just like, when a parent brings their kid to the playground and the kid is like playing on the slides and the parent's just like sitting there watching. He's kind of doing that right now, making sure the kid doesn't like annoy the other kids, or if his knee gets scraped up, to come help him.
Bubbles is constantly poking you, by the way, going, "What's that one's name? What's that one's name? What's that? What are they saying?"
He just responds and hisses to the names, like
I mean, that's their name.
she can't pronounce it. Yes.
It's hard to pronounce it in common.
So, shall we call it for the scene there?
We shall call it for this scene with one final set of rolls, because I do want one final set of rolls. So, Arnold, you are playing babysitter and making sure that nobody does anything stupid. So go ahead and roll me another animal handling, and Pep will give you assistance. 24. Okay. So the raptors are kept in check, and they do seem genuinely grateful for all the food, if a little baffled as to why you're doing this and also how.
But hey, food and their den just got a lot bigger.
It's very, very true. So, aside from that, then we also have the issue of all the soldiers doing their thing. So I will go ahead and roll for the average soldier trying his best in physical labor. And they are a bit laggard today, apparently because they've just ordered around a whole bunch. They finished a force march. They had to deal with a wasty attack. A lot of them are still injured, and now Ert and Farron are just ordering them all over the place.
And Bubbles keeps trying to get them to adopt a raptor baby.
Can Toad give them an assist?
I will allow Toad to give them an assist with his little OSHA sword.
He is helping them with safe practices and better movements in order to not strain them. Also reminding them that the tortoise exists.
And this does help. The safe practices are, only given a little hand wave of, yeah, I'll totally do it. And then they just kind of don't most of the time.
Those that actually do are like, guys, he's right. This is actually working.
And then groan, fine, I'll try. Anywho. So York, Bubbles, and Toad, and Arnold and Pep all return to base, where you have finally gathered enough stone in order to start on the actual bridge project, which means that it is time to think about some of the execution. Terry, Zan, Farron, and Ert are all cloistered in on this, furiously debating all of the different design concerns, especially the ones for eagle perches. so that Zan will be able to see further than everyone else.
Ert's insisting that, we need the faces of all the dwarven ancient ancestor gods. There are 713 of them at last check.
We don't need the faces of all the gods.
Well, there's currently 3 under debate right now.
Are you doing where are you putting the faces? Like on the pillars?
I mean, I figure we're just doing them repeating through the entire everything.
You plan on repeating 713 multiple times?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very large bridge.
I mean, yes, but 713 is a fairly large number to do. I mean, if you can make it fit, you can make it fit.
I could downgrade to the minor pantheon. Only 600 there.
I don't think we need any of them.
Ert's just being very sulky and intractable. Terry and Zan are having to constantly, I think, rain on both Bairn and Ert's parade.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think both of you are just being wet blankets continuously.
Continuously.
It's just nothing should really be on it that involves faces or putting some kind of faction or alignment to the bridge. We're doing this as a thing for everyone to get in the better graces of the entire nation.
So I like to think we've argued about this for a long time, and finally Erd and Farron, just in spite, engrave the entire side of the bridge with your ad here.
Oh boy. Yeah, sounds about right.
Because it's
Well,
room
it
magic.
would be in the spirit of Asshole Patrol.
It
So
would be.
Erd is going to be rolling what, Arcana, to design the runes for pre-designing bridge components?
Certainly. Go ahead and
Yep.
roll me that Arcana.
Think of playing, say, Valheim, and going, ooh, the stair, ooh, the corner brick. So Erd's making those.
All right. And go ahead and roll me that Arcana.
They aren't very good.
Farron reluctantly gives assistance.
Reluctantly.
Erd tells Farron to shove it.
So
Yeah, the bridge is not going well. It's just sort of shoddy stone blocks, and we are wasting tons and tons of magic energy.
it's actually ridiculous how much magic energy is being wasted. Fair is just about tearing her hair out in stress.
Has everybody
Toad.
come back in time?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm gonna have Toad run up to the situation.
Okay. Let's have that, Toad.
And he is going to... You said that some of the stones at this point are already made then, huh? At least a couple of them?
Yes, at least a couple of them as proof of concept sort of things.
All right. So it's gonna take Toad a bit probably, but he will use OSHA on them to see how bad they are.
Okay.
And then we can use skills to figure out, what the problem is and fix the runes.
Okay. This is going to be an investigation check for anyone but Toad.
Anyone but Toad.
Does anyone have especially good investigation? That's int, so probably Erd.
Yeah, I don't have very good.
Farron has +5.
My investigation is a +3.
Well, Erd got on that one again.
Erd is just offended as shit that Toad, dare tell him what to do. And is going to just storm off.
Terry, go ahead and roll for investigation.
23.
All right.
Thank heaven Terry's here.
Farron is also off her game. What the hell? But Terry is able to recognize that Toad is actually giving some very good feedback that needs to be obeyed. And Farron, a little reluctantly because it wasn't her idea in the first place, goes along with Terry's suggested revisions. And Ert is off having a sulk. Farron actually leans down to Toad and says, "Hey, by the way, you're really coming into your own, You're it's displaying a lot of magical prowess. You've even managed to create some sort of new magical ability. I wasn't even aware that people could do that sort of thing. It would be very useful for the people in my particular faith."
Toad is going to tilt his head in faith.
Yes, the faith to Poros, to build a god. But we don't need to get into that right now. We still have a little bit of work to do, but hey, how about this? She gives Toad a little bit of a grin. If they're already doing training sessions and whatnot, how about you find some folks who can show you a couple of things to do? Maybe the CRT, maybe some of the squadron soldiers. Definitely not Bubbles, though.
Bubbles is OSHA warning.
And Ert is OSHA violation, right?
Toad very confidently nods.
Then not either of them, but anyone who is OSHA approved, how about you go and ask them for a little bit of advice on, how to do things for yourself?
Little mushroom stares. You think he's thinking? You can't tell. But then he nods. He goes, yes.
And who does Toad go to in order to get some tutoring?
Let's say... What was Belladon good at?
Belladon Ezrin.
She's a scout.
Yeah, she's a scout. She's a ranged fighter, and she's got a very independent streak.
Catechus has kind of taken up cooking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Quartermaster.
Then there's Ian Lortek.
Who is in charge of equipment and maintenance.
Keflin is a lot of fairy magic. Snowblind is being good at being blind.
He's very good at that.
Boingo's kind of like the explosion version of Ert.
Well, Boingo does have some alchemical skills, but also Boingo is significantly more sensible than Ert, despite being a gnome.
You know what? Let's go with Boingo.
Oh no. Zan is immensely disappointed in Toad.
Why?
You know why.
Okay. So Boingo seems
Toad's gonna make it his mission to make sure every notable person in this base is a friend.
Good luck.
Oh no. So Boingo seems actually kind of surprised to have Toad approaching them about tutoring and whatnot. Toad, right? What do you need? Is there some sort of problem? Oh God, Zan's not after me again, is he?
Toad shakes his head and goes, no.
Zan, you just, bingo, bongo, boingo. Jeez, bingo, bongo, boingo. Anyway, I don't want to leave the Congo. Zan's just staring at Boingo through the tents. You can't see Zan, but she feels his gaze.
And the worst part is, now that he has sunglasses on, she can't even confirm it.
Toad tells Boingo that, his dad, Terry, he told Toad that he has to go and learn new things, and he wants to learn new things from Boingo.
Boingo would be happy to show Toad a few things, especially considering that Boingo does have a little bit of nature-y, magic-y stuff. So, alchemy skills, nature stuff, what takes Toad's interest?
Toad thinks and goes, well, he's really good at safety. And he also learned this, and just straight into the air an eldritch blast.
Boingo actually just kind of rocks back at that. Ooh, wow. Way to make me jealous.
You should be jealous.
It's like, oh, cool, that toddler has a handgun.
Toad just sits there. I learned it after eating a brain.
Boingo says that, yeah, they got that. Yes. Oh boy. So Toad, what kind of skill would you like to learn from Boingo? Because if we go over to your skills, Toad actually does have proficiency in investigation already due to OSHA.
Yeah. How about some Arcana?
Boingo could definitely teach you about a bit of Arcana. Then
because of the alchemy stuff.
Then let's go ahead and put a proficiency for Toad into Arcana. I believe you can update that.
I got it.
Okay, so that is 1 out of 4. Toad needs to learn from 3 more people.
Hmm. I think he needs to learn perception because also needs to be perceptive.
I think almost every single D&D 5e character gets proficiency in perception because you can't afford not to.
Yeah, currently, Toad does not have it.
So, who would you go to for a lesson on perceiving?
Go to Zan.
I was gonna say Belladon is the scout, right?
Yes, she is.
Zan has the highest perception out of anybody here.
You should really just go to Zan.
But Zan is busy.
Would that stop Toad?
Yes. Toad has manners. He's a polite little fungus. Zan is busy and he doesn't want to bother him.
So, you are going to hunt down Belladon Ezrin and hit her up for advice?
Yes. Toad goes running. You just hear his little tiny mushroom feet through the grass.
Belladon just turns around and like, what's that weird squeaking noise? Oh! She leans down a little bit in order to say, hello, Toad. Did Terry send you on some sort of errand?
I need to learn.
Learn? She unships a bow from her back and says, so you want to master archery, right?
Toad shakes his head.
She sags a little bit and says, nobody ever wants to learn archery. I actually learned how to properly use this bow, but everyone in the damn army just keeps using firebolts.
Zan uses a bow.
Toad just, I want to learn scout.
Scouting? She scratches her head a little bit and then says, well, we do have to go do one final sweep in order to see if we can get any extra materials after Ert bungled some of those sewn. So how about you come along with me? We'll do a little bit of a ride-along situation.
Toad is excited.
All right. And so Toad and Belladon Ezrin have a small road trip. Toad is given his own riding bird for the duration.
I just imagine that one of the things Toad had found was just, a rather brave ferret. And so Belladon has to watch as this little mushroom on a bird is fending off a ferret from the army.
Keeping everyone safe in the best approved OSHA manner. Belladon eventually comes back. Toad does get the proficiency in perception. And so, once you return, Belladon helps Toad dismount from his riding bird. The bird immediately just vanishes into thin air.
Magic.
Magic indeed. And Belladon gives Toad a smile and says, come back sometime. You're a good student. Now, you have 2 more people that you need to go to for advice. I know. Go talk to Poopy.
What can a slime teach Toad?
How to eat.
What are the last 2 skills you want to do? Let's just figure that first.
What would be good for Toad? Maybe
I'd say nature and medicine.
just make him an all-around generalist sort of character.
Yeah. And also because he's a fungus. Right, Zan? Zan agrees.
Zan definitely agrees.
Zan agrees.
I'm feeling like Toad doesn't have to just pick a skill because fungus, though. I mean, he's eaten the
That's
brain
valid.
of what? A rogue, a warlock at this point, a barbarian, and a dragon.
A Batman dragon.
So he can kind of pick and choose whatever. He does have some warlock abilities already.
Why is Ert playing Tetris, by the way?
Those are the rejected block types.
Oh, I missed the drawings while you were saying. I was zoomed in on the wrong part.
These are the boring OSHA approved block types.
Eh.
I like the idea of him being good at medicine, mostly because if he's a generalist, then he'd be good at running around and trying to slap band-aids on people.
I mean, after all, health and safety does involve health and safety.
True.
What's the last one going to be?
Maybe survival?
Not a bad thing to have, especially for a mushroom.
That or stealth.
Who's survival aside from Arnold?
Um,
Arnold has survival. Zan has survival.
I believe
Is Zara survival?
Sarah probably has survival.
Hep does not have survival, which is a bit weird. And Zero does not have survival. So having more survival would not actually be a bad thing.
Huh.
So cool. Arnold gets to be a teacher.
That is, if Toad wants to go and learn something about surviving out in nature.
I think him having survival would be a good idea.
Okay, then let's have Toad. Kethlin would be probably the best bet in order to learn about medicine, since she's, one of the people who actually knows how to treat people with medicine.
True.
Ooh, you can all go out in herbalism.
Yes, herbalism, the verb.
Have fun.
The verb?
Yes, to herbalism.
I'm triggered.
All right, so what kind of thing does Toad say to Kethlin?
He just says that Dad says he needs to learn, and he wants to learn to heal.
And so the little Osha Toad comes up to the changeling woman, and she is absolutely delighted to have someone who actually cares instead of just trying to retrofit runes in order to produce clean bandages. It's way harder than you would think to actually produce cloth,
Toad has no idea what any of that really means. He just knows he wants to learn to make people better.
So Kethlin sits down with Toad by the campfire and shows him various techniques in order to save someone's life when they're downed, and generally how to patch someone up when they're injured. Toad learns that other people are filled with blood for some reason.
Probably using one of the injured soldiers as example.
Exactly. And so Toad learns that blood should stay on the inside for everyone's health and safety, because the blood itself, while it is important to stay inside, it is also a safety hazard because of pathogens.
Which are things that he would kind of understand as long as Kethlin uses the word germs.
They are
Because-
germs. They are
Because
tiny
fungus
little...
can
Good.
Yep, because fungus can still get sick from germs.
Oh, it's true. But don't worry, it's rare that fungus gets human diseases. Anyway, someone came to the camp with a cold, and now all of the Fecroid race is dying.
I like to imagine that Fecroids would actually be amazing in quarantine zones.
I'm just imagining this phenomena where Toad's people, oh no, a new disease came and hit us, and 99% of the population dies, but they all release spores and just regrow as an immediately new generation.
That are now
That's now
immune to
immune.
that original pathogen.
Yep, it wiped out our entire people. We got better though.
So, the last thing is Toad going to Arnold for a consultation. So,
Oh,
Toad, how do
boy.
you
Yeah.
approach Arnold?
Walks over
Hey,
and taps his mushroom sword against Arnold's knee.
he just stares at Toad like, yeah? What?
And just want to learn.
Learn what?
Toad knows the word survival, but doesn't know if he can actually say it, so he thinks for a minute and then says, camping.
Camping. Okay. He sits down with Toad and
Camping, no gear.
sits down. Oh, camping, no gear. Okay. He was about to sit down and show him how to set up a tent and make a fire. Just all the s'mores.
Toad
Arnold-
realized that just camping wouldn't work, but camping no gear means survival, right?
Arnold was getting really excited. He just deflates a little bit. He's like, I wanted to do s'mores.
You
I
can
really want-
still do s'mores, Arnold.
No gear, no s'mores.
There's a small pause, and then Toad goes, s'mores later.
Arnold perks up a little bit and then Starts teaching Toad how to do how to survive, how to camp with no gear. Step one, you just turn into your raptor form and
No, I think that's legitimately it. And Toad's like, oh, and he just walks over as a mushroom person and just sits there on the forest floor, and he's fine because he's a
Because
mushroom.
he's a mushroom. But in any case,
I feel like he's gonna be taught a little more than that though, because not everyone can just root themselves.
indeed, Arnold does actually show some ways of finding food out in the wilderness, how to tell whether things are edible, both for fecroids and for people who have blood inside them. Thank you very much. Arnold would probably teach Toad how to start a fire without any equipment, and generally how to tell which direction you're facing and where you're going.
I imagine Toad going, if I eat a raptor, do I speak raptor?
I think he could, if that's what he wants to learn after eating a raptor brain.
Oh, are we feeding raptor brains to Toad now?
I think the question is whether Arnold would object to Toad doing that. Because I feel like he would. It's like your raptor friends approach and Toad's like, eat?
Toad wouldn't be that obvious about it.
Yeah.
He would wait until they die first.
Exactly.
Huh. Great.
I'm sure Arnold is having a great time.
Toad has learned Terry taught him that you're not allowed to just ask if you can eat someone's brain while they're alive. That means Toad has to wait until they die first.
It's the polite thing to do.
So that's it for Toad?
That is it for Toad. And now there is a small problem that is coming up because of incredibly bizarre circumstances. Pep doesn't even actually end up going to Zan and Ert and Terry and whatnot in order to do this one. She just kind of goes up to the rest of the CRT and to Toad, and she says, guys, we have a weird problem.
What would that be? Well, Toad would just say what?
And Pep points off into the distance and she says, well, there's some sort of boat in the nearby river that is swearing vengeance on our regiment, apparently, because we have somehow wronged them.
The boat is, or the people on the boat?
The people on the boat.
Okay, I was worried that we had a talking boat.
And they are apparently declaring that we are under some sort of embargo for the wrongs that we have committed. And I don't know if this is going to be an actual problem at all, but we probably don't want them to go all the way up the river into the lake and start trying to blast down our bridge while it's under construction.
Like,
Toad
I
just
imagine the debate
asks
here.
Toad looks up and goes, "Who are they?"
She shrugs and says, I've never met them before, but apparently they were some sort of river folk, and they looked like they had weapons on their boat. So some sort of river pirate things, I'd assume?
No, I think we need to recontextualize this. Pep isn't coming up to us because, just randomly. Pep is coming up as like, holy shit, I just got back and there are river pirates. Like, no shit, river pirates.
Toad is trying to think. Did
Didn't
we do anything involving pirates
we
or river people?
Well, so we had that one place that was flooded, but I thought we helped that place.
Yes, you helped that place. Instead of having to raft across, you actually lowered the river level so they could just walk across the bridge.
Yeah. So the only river people we've talked to, we've been friends with.
And so that's part of the reason why Pep is so profoundly confused about all this, because this doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense.
I want to imagine, like, should we tell Zan? And Zara and York are like, no.
Because if we tell Zan, then Zan's just going to kill them.
Yes, correct.
Pep looks down to Toad from her, not actually down. Actually, she would look up to Toad because Toad is probably now taller than her.
With the helmet.
And Pep just says, listen, this is probably something where we don't need to involve everyone. Maybe this would be a good test, to see if you are capable of going out on your own adventures.
Toad thinks it would be a good idea to get a better look at these guys. Get a read on them then.
Arnold raises his hand and says, I can go take a look.
Can Toad come along?
Yes.
He just learned how to look at things really well.
And you will never learn anything else ever again, because that's how skill proficiencies work in D&D. You learned 4 things in a single day, and now you'll never learn anything again.
Man, I remember that day. That was a fucked up
It
day.
was a good day.
All right. So,
Perfect. The duality of man. Shall we head off? I assume
Indeed.
Bubbles does not get invited, despite her best attempts.
Not for this.
well, invited and, coming along uninvited are 2 completely separate things.
I mean, she did go and make Actually, no. Bubbles insists she knows these guys.
Pep looks over to
She
Zara and
went
York.
into the town where they were, and she met them. She remembers because one of them had a pirate hat.
That is unfortunately true. But Pep looks over to Zara and York. Zara and York just kind of shrug awkwardly because they guess that she might know something.
Wait a minute. Out of character. Wait, is this are these those kobolds who were super polite but we're still like, nah, we're still gonna kill you?
No, most of those died
No,
in the military operation.
These are.
killed
Do you
them.
remember there were just random pirates in that turtle town?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so they were the pirates that preyed on the river
Oh.
traffic.
Oh, yeah. Zan would totally just kill them.
Welcome to the new map.
Zan would totally just kill them.
None of them are in a pirate hat at all. Bubbles had the wrong group, apparently.
I do not know if I actually have a pirate hat that I could put on here. Oh, actually, I do. Here, hold on.
Pirates of the Caribbean intensifies.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
So, you arrive at this river crossing that you have already crossed before, and you find a group of pirates who is apparently menacing the bridge. And they are shouting insults at the horrible people that dared take away their livelihood.
These people are incredibly dumb. Like
Arnold-
I just want us to all establish that beforehand as we're watching them.
Yeah, no, they're dumb. Arnold looks over to York and Pep and says, I mean, I think we could take them. What do you want to do?
York just frowns and says, if we just got a large enough rock and then just threw it through the boat, they'd just sink.
Arnold starts looking for rocks immediately.
Osha, Toad, is there anything that you would like to put in for this? This is supposed to be an adventure focusing on you.
Hmm. From here, can he see the structural integrity of the boat?
Let's see. I do want to say that your OSHA has a range of 30 feet.
Arnold got a 13 looking for a big rock to throw at the boat.
Gonna head right to the edge of this bridge then. Because he has
All right.
two. Because he's gonna do 2 actions. He's gonna use OSHA on the bridge and on the boat.
Okay. And so Toad uses OSHA on the bridge. The bridge seems fairly structurally sound, although there are a few loose knots that really should be shored up and retied. And as for the boat seems not super great. It's apparent that they haven't been maintaining it. It's got a couple of leaks that have only barely been plugged. They've just, been holding out the water from the river with tar. It's not good.
Arnold hefts a rock and gets ready to throw.
Pep is also looking for rocks. What is Bubbles doing?
Bubbles is wondering what the deal with the rocks are. What you doing? What
Also,
you doing?
I do want to point out, Toad, that you have a couple of skills on your sheet that you have automatically proficient in because of a pact boon. Do you know what those skills are?
That'd be under class notes, right?
It's on the right there. Beguiling influence.
Ah! Proficiency in deception and persuasion.
And also Misty Visions, which is interesting.
None of them are raptors, right?
None of them are raptors.
Toad has an idea. Toad looks at Pep and York first and sees if they like this idea. One of the things he can do is he can try and cast a silent image. So that means, like, say, the one who was probably the most in trouble with these kobolds, so Ert?
These
It's
kobolds?
always Ert?
What?
What? These kobolds?
Sorry, not the
What?
kobolds, the pirates. The pirates, not the kobolds.
They
I'm
actually never met her.
getting my history mixed up. But yeah, so the pirates, Ert, because it's kind of always
was
Ert.
never there, was he?
Ert did not meet these people, I think. I think it was Zan who got increasingly frustrated by the fact that their entire pirate scheme made absolutely no sense.
Probably.
Oh, well then, we'll make it Zan. A silent image of Zan on the bridge. Because if they attack the bridge could collapse on them.
Okay.
Arnold has a giant rock and he's waiting for the go ahead to throw it.
Bubbles has now realized what the rock is for. It's like, no. They're obviously too dumb to know what they're doing. They're stuck in a backward culture.
Okay,
What does
meanwhile,
Pep and York think of Toad's plan?
Pep and York are just kind of watching what Toad does, and they're kind of grinning when they see the image of Zan start to appear. They're just like, yeah, this is going to work. Go great. So, Toad, go ahead and roll me a deception with advantage.
All right, deception with advantage. Okay. 18.
All right, 18. And so they freak out at the sight of Zan. They begin demanding his surrender. They are clearly not very good at this at all.
Arnold throws a rock at their boat. Like
Arnold, that is
a big rock.
Not.
No? Why not?
What would we say dictates aim?
that's dexterity to aim.
Okay, Bubbles misses entirely with her mold earth rune.
Trying to hit my boulder.
Yeah, she tries to mold earth the rock out of your hands before you can kill these poor dumb creatures.
Arnold throws the rock.
Bubbles
Ignoring
misses
Bubbles.
entirely.
Okay, Arnold, you should have a ranged weapon on your sheet. I believe it is a hand axe.
Wrong.
Go ahead.
I have a ranged weapon hand axe. It's a melee weapon, but yes.
Hand
melee
axes are thrown weapons.
It's under melee weapons, but okay. I rolled it. I got a 25 to hit.
25 to hit. The rock slams into the boat, and everyone on the ship begins shouting in fear and distress. Holy crap! Did you guys know that bird could do that? and like they're clearly thinking that somehow Zan is responsible for this, only to realize that it's Arnold. Like 4 seconds later, it took them a bit.
No. It's like, holy shit! He has summoned Boulder. No, wait, he has summoned Raptor.
You guys spelled angry wrong.
Okay, fine. I'll change the spelling of angry.
Thank you. Oh, I hate you.
Oh boy. So does Toad do anything with the Zan vision?
Well, it's a silent image. Can those move?
Yes, they can.
Can they
In
spread
fact, you
their
should
wings
find
and fluff up their feathers to assert dominance?
In
I'm
fact,
gonna have. No. Toad has watched Zan for quite a while. He's gonna have the silent image Zan flip off the boat.
also, if you like,
Am I wrong?
I don't
Is
think you were wrong.
I feel like that's in character.
Also, if you would like, please go ahead in your spellbook and find the cantrip that I put down for you for Silent Image Misty Visions.
All right. And cast.
So is Arnold reaching for another rock?
That's a good question, Zach.
He is reaching for another rock.
Bubbles
the-
like,
he's-
no, 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 no,
He's
no, no,
pretty. He's pretty. Like he saw Pep and York looking for rocks. He's like, "Yep, this is the thing I'm supposed to do."
Bubbles
Like-
like, Zan, tell him not to.
Oh my god. Meanwhile,
Zan!
Pep and York are both supplying Arnold with more rocks.
Arnold keeps throwing. Arnold keeps on checking.
All right, Toad, roll me one more deception as Arnold rolls another hand axe attack.
Alrighty. And that is just a normal deception?
Yep.
21.
Oh god. Their boat is absolutely peppered with rocks, and they swear vengeance on Zan as their boat is clearly sinking into the water. And like 3 of the 4 of them apparently are just fine in the water. One of them isn't. Oh god.
Bubbles yells at Zan to save him.
I mean, even if it wasn't an imaginary Zan, the answer would still be silence.
Like, is anyone at any point going to tell Bubbles it's an image?
Probably not.
Because the image is treating Bubbles exactly the same way Zan always treats Bubbles.
Well, as
Pep and
soon
York-
as the pirates are dealt with and they're no longer around, Toad will just dismiss the silent image.
And Zan disappears into the ether, and the pirates are shocked into the belief that somehow Zan can turn invisible.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah, I have the rune right here. Bubbles holds up the rune.
yeah.
Oh boy. And so the river pirates are quote unquote dealt with, and Arnold got to throw shit at people. You know, it's a bad day.
Like, I imagine Pep and York are going to be talking about this for weeks. Just, I shit you not. These guys declared themselves river pirates. They had a rowboat. It wasn't even going to fit.
Oh boy.
And then Arnold, he grabbed this rock and he just threw it to the boat.
Toad's gonna look up to Pep and York and ask them if they'll tell Zan what happened.
York looks down to Toad and says, "Do you want me to?"
Toad thinks for a minute and then nods.
Then yes.
I feel like York is just playing the uncle role way, way, way obviously. Like he's just really super obviously infatuated with Toad.
I mean,
Oh hell yeah.
you really don't understand unless you're an orc what it means when they're green like that.
Exactly. And meanwhile, Pep is telling Bubbles some very obvious lies about how Zan is just like, you know, he's trying to be practical about this, and technically he solved everything without violence.
So, back to camp then.
Back to camp for one final sequence because something is going horribly wrong with this construction effort.
Whose fault is it?
Well, the first instinct that you have would be to blame Bubbles, except that she isn't here. Because you've made a lot of runes that are custom tuned in order to produce the right pieces, and they are producing the right pieces, but apparently you're burning through them a hell of a lot faster than you've had any intention of doing.
All right. We need to take our quick break here.
Yes, let's
Okay.
go ahead and take that quick break, and that will allow me to do a little bit more prep. And we're back. So, after our short break, we are now investigating who the hell is behind the disappearance of a whole bunch of runes. Because, as Ert eventually puts together, this is not just something that can be attributed to, something happened and we don't know why. This is more.
No, you see, Ert knows what's happened. He knows.
What does he know?
Where's Ert?
Ert's-
Bubbles, where did you take my runes? Why
And
did you take 700 runes of summon Tetris block?
Bubbles, of course, objects that she did no such thing.
Turn out your rune bags.
She does.
Oh
she
God,
did-
that's a lot of runes. Have I been giving you those?
Bubbles says that you must have.
Huh.
Ert, stop giving Bubbles runes.
You probably shouldn't have that many in close proximity, just saying.
I do not know if Bubbles would actually take that advice.
Someday, that bag of holding full of runes is going to explode and kill everyone.
It's very true.
I'm just saying.
That's the final session.
Yes, literally. I mean, that's literally what is happening to the Empire right now. That is the entire plot.
It's true. Like, actually, unironically true.
Anyway, Ert accuses Bubbles of rune theft, and when there isn't enough runes, he is very confused. He is looking around for an elf to blame, but the elves are all hiding.
And at this point, someone who isn't usually outspoken about all this actually speaks up. It's Snowblind. Are you looking for something, Ert?
Elves.
Well, I don't know if they're elves, but someone has been going into and out of the camp rather a lot.
Fucking elves. Zan, we got elves.
Anything that Eric doesn't like is just an elf.
I'm glad you get it.
Ert is yelling at Zan. Zan, we got elves.
Yes, sir. We got elves. Great.
No. Like, they're stealing our shit.
Stealing what?
Our shit. Runes.
Runes. Somebody's stealing our runes. Okay. Who?
Not Bubbles.
Which ones? The turkey legs runes?
No, the actual rock construction runes.
Snowblind.
Oh.
Who's stealing our runes?
And Snowblind shrugs and says, I don't get people's appearances, but I did notice that they were a bit smaller than everyone else. Well, except maybe Pep.
Terry
Boingo.
Terry pipes up before Zan can say anything and go, it's not Boingo.
Snowblind
Ert
not.
just rounds on Pep and Toad and is like, Jacques.
Oh boy.
Snowblind nodded.
Snowblind nodded and said that he would have noticed if it was actually freaking sorry.
Boingo.
If it was Boingo, yes.
I'm guessing Boingo moves in a very specific manner.
Rather boingy.
Yes, exactly. But it's more to the point that Snowblind and Boingo have known each other for kind of a long time now, and Snowblind is aware of how Boingo actually walks.
I feel like Zan would immediately raise the question of, you knew about this and didn't say anything?
I mean, yes. Why didn't you tell anyone?
Snowblind looks a little nervous and says, because whenever I say anything to you, you threaten me with death.
No, I threatened Boingo with death. I threatened you with a beating. It's different.
I think the point still stands, though.
Okay, where were they? When was the last time you knew they were here?
Boingo says they come about once every 10 minutes or so.
Where exactly?
Well, they were heading right past a lot of the soldiers and they went straight up toward you. I thought you must have noticed.
Oh, so Snowblind doesn't even notice that.
Ert, you're slightly taller than Toad and Pep, and you've been going from there to here.
So you blame Ert for sabotaging his own project?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's a perfectly valid excuse. Like, are you sure you didn't just eat them?
Are you sure you just didn't misplace your runes?
Ert's like 90% sure that they aren't just, being eaten by Tina.
Zan gets out a lantern of sea invisibility that we have, because all the soldiers have one, and just gets it ready. Doesn't turn it on yet, but waits approximately 9 minutes and then turns it on in the area that's Snowblind.
Now, I like to imagine everyone is just looking at Snowblind.
And Snowblind is just what?
It's like, come on. Everyone's holding up the lanterns.
We wait for Snowblind to tell
Damn.
us that the person's near, and then we all turn on our lanterns of sea invisibility.
I was
Fair
gonna say,
enough.
could Toad help with, being a little mushroom and sensing the earth as well?
I will allow Toad to roll his new perception check.
15.
Okay, and I will roll a stealth thing in just one moment. 14. Toad actually picks up on it at roughly the same time that Snowblind does. And in just one moment, I will have a thing on the stage for you to see.
Zan immediately stabs whatever it is 50 times and kills it.
Now, wait a second. How does Zan know about it?
Because Zan is in tune with his inner thief.
All right.
Oh my
The
gosh.
goblin.
Zan probably does stab it as soon as he sees it, just out of disgust.
I mean, it's not quite in range, dude. You got one square, but you could 5-foot step.
5-foot step into
5
all
foot
the
step.
stabs.
Oh god, it's dead. There's blood everywhere. Was that tent red to begin with?
5-foot step. Defend
No,
yourself,
don't kill the
Cretan.
goblin.
Oh,
Defend
God.
yourself, Cretan.
No, goblins and Vigas are so much more complex than you think.
Sans
Oh,
just thinks it's
boy.
ugly and wants it to die.
Yeah, like literally, Zan is like, where? There? Shit, there. Stab.
Kill.
Oh, God. Go ahead and roll me an attack if you are so inclined.
I'm not actually trying to kill it. I am trying to knock it out cold. So I'll attack it and then
Fist
try to
it,
stun.
fist it.
Yeah, I'm
A
trying to.
non-lethal attack.
I am fisting the goblin. DM, I am rolling for fisting.
Go ahead and roll for the fisting.
Oh, I have too many sheets open. It's yelling at me. Okay. Roll one for that's one fist roll.
Okay, that is indeed
That is one fist roll. Now, are you gonna roll 3 more?
that is indeed a hit. The goblin immediately throws up its hand and says, "Mercy, mercy!"
Stunning strike.
Whoops. There we go.
Stunning
my-
strike, 15 DC. 16? 16 DC. 16 DC.
Okay, and
That was a terrible place for him to spawn.
yes.
Okay, Zan grabs him by the back of the neck, not the front. He's not choking him, but he's holding him by the back of the neck with one hand, and the other hand is pinning his weapon arm behind his back, and says, "I caught the thief."
He doesn't even seem to be armed.
Toad is going.
He has at least 2 arms, so he's definitely armed. I could
Vertebrae.
disarm him though if you want me to.
Toad has run up and has demanded no harm because Dad taught him you have to interrogate first.
Oh, don't worry, I won't kill him. I'll just you interrogate by causing harm, Toad. I'll teach you the finer forms of interrogation later. It's fine.
Dad says interrogate does not need harm.
See, that works fine when you have magic, but I don't have magic, so I use harm to make up for the magic, the lack of magic.
Toad just. Dad uses words.
See, that's called magic. I don't have magic, so I just use my big strong feather muscles.
Terry, this is probably the point where Terry notices.
Toad looks confused because Terry would just be using charisma checks. He's
Yeah,
not
Zan
actually
doesn't
using
have
magic.
charisma, and to Zan, that high charisma is magic. People listening to Terry just because he says something is freaking stupid.
Elves are stupid.
Look, if you want to see something really scary, Erd'll start rolling charisma checks.
Please, God, no.
So Toad just waves his little sword to keep Zan's attention. Is just like I want to try. Let me try.
Like, does Zan understand that this goblin is pathetic?
I
Like,
mean,
Zan, I feel like Zan is comparing this to the rogue we just killed and is like, uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not scared of it, but I'm like, you're stealing my crap. What you doing, bro?
Like, Toad is volunteering to interrogate.
I mean, while I hold the goblin, Toad and Terry are free to ask the goblin question, and Zan will
Erd is
assist.
just looking at you, Zan, is like, is your arm not getting tired?
Zan,
Zan-
Completely extended, dude.
Zan is wearing gauntlets of ogre strength.
Toad is just asking Zan politely if he can lower the goblin so that they're at a level playing field here, like they can actually
Well, their
look at
heads
each
are
other.
level.
Toad doesn't wanna-
Instead, Zan picks up Toad with his other arm and places him on a stool.
No, just hold them both.
No, because I have to hold the goblin's arms in place.
Oh, good point.
Is the goblin awake? Mhm.
the goblin is stunned and just kind of woozy, but it's just, I didn't mean, I didn't.
Toad reaches out and taps him a few times with his mushroom.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Toad goes, "Where's Runes?"
I took him back to the base.
Where's
What
the
base?
Oh, You gotta go that way, and it'll be like hidden Heidi because we got the magic ink.
We got the magic ink.
Why take them?
Or because they look magicy. And also, we heard a bunch of it seems to immediately come to and just oh no. I'm really sorry, very sorry. Please let go.
Zan twists his arms and says, "Keep telling us what you're telling us."
Okay. 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 So he then goes on to detail that apparently he and his goblin friends, friends is used in very loose quotation marks because it is quite obvious that this guy is a stooge. They spotted your extremely not subtle arrangement here, and they decided that they could do something. They could use their magic ink to hide from you and sneak up on you and possibly get some of those interesting magic-y things. And he says that it was definitely very wrong and that he'll never do it again. And also his friends are super nice and you shouldn't hurt any of them because they're all good goblins.
Okay, great.
Toad thinks and then looks to Zan and then just says, rather matter-of-factly, Dad could use them.
Sure, as long as we get our stuff back.
I go get Dad.
The soldiers ask if they can turn the lanterns off yet.
The soldiers can turn off the lanterns. The CRT is going to go in the direction, or Zan's going to tell the CRT to go in the direction that the goblin pointed with lamps to find their den and to just seal it off. And if any goblin tries to come out to capture the goblin.
After Toad has told Zan that he's going to go get Terry, he hops off the stool, points up at Zan, and says, "No hurting!" and then runs off to go get Terry.
As soon as Toad turns away, Zan twists the goblin's arm a little bit.
Oh.
When Terry and Toad get back, Toad smacks Zan with his little mushroom sword.
Zan just ignores that.
It really doesn't hurt because he doesn't want it to actually hurt.
Well, I don't think it would hurt even if he wanted it to hurt, would it?
Uh-oh, I killed someone.
Oh, Shaggy
Whoops.
killed someone again.
I killed someone, I'm sorry.
Did you delete a token, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what type it was?
Black.
Okay. One of the archers, probably. Where were they?
Down near the Tetris stuff. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't mean to.
There, we just have a new soldier. They've suddenly changed
I was
ethnicity.
just
We don't know
cleaning
why.
up all my drawings, so our map would be pretty.
No worries. So, you guys are going to go on an expedition in order to find the goblin hideout, huh?
Well, Terry's going to interrogate this little goblin first to figure out what these goblins are good at.
Like Erd is wondering, like, what? Did they steal the runes or did they steal the crystals?
They seem to just be after the runes themselves. They seem to be rather opportunistic, but actually quite clever in how they apply things. The goblin is actually invisible, and it seems to be a coating on his skin, not just, some random thing that was enchanted onto him. And apparently the goblins are aware enough of their situation to be like, okay, so this is only going to last for a very limited amount of time, so we got to move as fast as we can.
I mean, Erd doesn't have agency here. He's just looking at you guys like, so we gonna do something? You gonna eat that, Zan?
What are the goblins interested in specifically?
Like
So-
everything else?
I don't eat. Shut up.
It's like, oh, I don't
Terry
eat things that
asks-
talk, and then we have a druid here, and he's talking to shit.
Terry's going to ask the little goblin what the whole tribe is specifically interested in.
The goblin says that the tribe basically just kind of noticed that there was some magical stuff that they didn't quite understand, and they've had good, luck with finding other things that had magical effects and using them in different ways. they thought that maybe they could gather up a bunch of these runes and then they could figure out what to do with them afterwards.
See, this is what happened when you determine your actions based on detect magic.
Hmm.
They
So,
were going to steal a bunch of cursed bricks at one point.
It's true.
so Terry's idea is in fact recruiting this little goblin tribe
Of course.
because they seem to be great scroungers and scavengers. They would be interested in sticking around because we would provide food and shelter and interesting things to look at. And it would also put us in better graces with several different factions because we're taking in mainland residents to help and care for them on top of our own people.
Wait, does that mean we're less accepted than goblins?
Hmm?
That is a hell of a response to a bowl cut.
Yeah, you are less accepted than goblins, definitely.
Yeah,
Because
right now, the Empire is seen very unfavorably.
exceptionally so, yes.
We're trying to separate ourselves from the Empire by showing that we are not like the rest of them.
Does that mean we are the downtrodden undercast? Do I have to call everyone brother?
Yes, brother.
I'm sorry, brother.
If that's how you're going to get through this.
So, do you guys
So, honestly, this is between Zen and Terry here. So Zan has just been told that Terry wants to, more or less enslave the goblins. I mean, higher,
We're not enslaving the goblins.
higher.
Harry doesn't think we're enslaving the goblins, just like Zan isn't enslaving the troll. We all know it's enslavement.
No.
Yes.
The goblins are actually going to get paid.
Sure. And slaves are paid with food and, it's all the same.
They're going to have an actual currency that will be given to them
Do they get a
weekly.
choice? Do they get a choice in whether to help you or not?
They do get a choice. Terry is going to offer them what he can offer them, which is food, shelter, steady job, lots of shiny things to look at.
Zan and Ert both know that you're really enslaving the goblins.
And they get paid.
everyone knows that Terry is just such an awful person who never
He
does
is.
anything good.
Correct.
Like, I want to make it clear that everyone around camp sort of assumes that Terry has some dark motivation. It's like, no, Terry's just nice.
And everybody's just like, holy shit, wow, that Terry guy is going to get a whole bunch of people killed. No, he's not.
Terry does have ulterior motives and he's willing to do just about anything
Okay.
to get to them, but those ulterior motives currently do not overlap with the idea of recruiting these goblins as a PR move.
Okay, so how would recruiting an army of random goblins work?
So, basically, you guys are going to have to find them first. This goblin is hesitantly willing to show you the goblin camp, but only if you promise to be nice to his friends. Zan.
Well, Terry and Toad can promise.
Does Zan promise to be nice?
Zan promises that he won't murder you unless you do something that merits murder.
Uh-huh. The goblin is a little bit dubious about that particular promise, but it seems like it's the best he's going to get, so he will lead you in the general direction. Are you going to bring all your soldiers with you?
Do we need all of our soldiers for this?
Probably not. But that's up to you.
Then no.
Ert looks up and is like, Zan, you can take them.
Probably we won't bring all of our soldiers. I don't think we need that many.
Like, bring the scouts with you.
We have runes of fireball. We have Terry's circle of death that can literally kill all of the goblins instantly if we really, really need to.
We have Toad.
Yeah, I
Could
think we're
bring Pep.
good.
Could bring
Yeah,
Pep just for fun.
We'll
Small
bring Pep along, and yeah, we don't need to bring the army.
just a couple of small people to show the goblins that we like small people. Because they're small
That is
people.
so racist. See, we like your kind.
Racist.
We like your kind. See,
We
don't.
like
We're
your
not.
height.
No. We like your size.
See, we're accepting of people of different skin color. It's okay that you're black. I have black friends too. It's
Boingo,
all
come tell them how
okay.
black you are.
How is it? No, how is it racist to bring a height into the equation?
Well,
Wouldn't
because
I
it's
just be
it's
prejudiced
speciesist.
against-
It's
What is
so
that
it wouldn't.
speciesist?
It's like making. Oh, we like dwarf in real life. Oh, you have dwarfism. It's okay. I have short friends too. It's so demeaning.
Terry is bringing along just short people in general. He doesn't care about what the race is.
I thought Terry had a high charisma, but here he is insulting an entire species of short people.
Look, they didn't bring I feel like you should call this as a win.
Yeah, we're not bringing Ert.
God.
Okay,
All
so
right.
Goblin Camp.
And we're not bringing Bubbles.
Oh, Bubbles really wants to make peace with the goblins and uplift them into modern society.
Okay, just a moment.
So who's here?
So it looks like we're gonna have Toad. I don't think that Zan would be kept away from this, would he?
No, Zan is definitely there.
Dan is there.
We're gonna bring Pep along.
Okay. As a diplomacy move.
Now Zan has to bring his new Pokemon.
No, he does not have to bring his new Pokemon.
Oh
That's what would Waffles wouldn't be particularly helpful in this.
no, Arnold.
Oh, my Pokemon is Waffles.
Terry will come because if anything, Toad will take a little bit of charge here in the diplomacy. But Terry will be there to help him. It's his son's first diplomatic mission.
He will make Dad proud.
Arnold could be here if Arnold wants to be here.
Yeah, Arnold's gonna be here.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
I'll be
Waffles.
Arnold.
Waffles is not coming.
Arnold has informed everyone that the Raptors have pinpointed the location of the enemy encampment. Give me
And
a single Raptor.
okay, fine. You know what? You are playing a Raptor now. So there.
What?
You gotta have someone on scene or you're gonna go mad with boredom.
I was gonna grab Arnold.
You could be Arnold.
Yeah, I'm Arnold. Give me the control of the Raptor, though. He's mine.
Okay, fine. Jeez. Okay, there you go.
Arnold faithfully informs Zan that he's found the enemy camp. This Raptor knows where they are. They're over there.
And the goblin also gestures you over there. Pep has one of the revealing invisibility lanterns, and when Pep shines it over towards the camp, it's revealed. The entire thing, including the buildings, were invisible.
Or they painted purple.
Yes, because everyone knows that's the sneakiest color.
Why are we here again?
Terry,
Well-
just to recruit the goblins.
We're gonna throw rocks at them.
No.
This mission sucks.
Toad will walk up with the goblin.
And the goblin waves to all of his friends and says, "Hi, I got caught." And the other goblins are just like, "And you brought them here?"
Toad waves his little mushroom and yells, "Diplomacy!"
Zan calls now, and all the soldiers hiding shoot the goblins full of arrows, and everyone dies.
The end.
The end. Mission success. We did it, guys.
No. No. You gotta let Toad do this.
From far away, the little gray one you had just approached that's frowning,
Yeah.
it kind of looks like he's got a mustache.
Wait, that's not a mustache?
No,
No,
that's
he's
his
just got
mouth
his
and
mouth
his two little
open.
tusks.
He's just got his mouth open.
No, he's a mustache. I'm staying at this Zoom level. I'm happier this way.
Editor, put a mustache on him.
He already has one.
Oh boy.
Like, I like to imagine Zan's looking at this and like, I would kill all of these. This is like children.
They really are. Really low HP, you know?
Like you're in the situation in a video game where the child, thieves have stolen a very large amount of money.
I
You're
tell them to
like-
give them back always. I never let them keep it. I'm the jerk.
You're a big jerky jerk face.
Yep. I mean, I was born with resting bitch face, so I live the part, you know?
It's called resting bird face.
Yeah, well.
Well, Toad.
Toad, this is
Yes,
your show.
Toad will approach further.
The goblinoids seem rather hesitant about this. There's one holding a clearly enchanted spear of some description, and he says, "Wait, you don't come closer.
Toad just, okay.
Why you come here? You looking for shiny things back?"
Toad just, no. We come to ask you to join us.
There is a significant pause as the goblinoid just kind of blinks in confusion. A more heavily armored goblinoid comes up, just kind of puts his hand on the spear wielding guy's head and just pushes him backwards. You are coming to parley, yes?
Toad just,
We're here to get our stuff. Oh wait,
Parlez-vous français?
Toad just not know what that word means.
It means you are here to talk without fighting, but discuss important things.
Toad, oh, then yes.
Okay, then I am here to parley on behalf of my people.
Toad just, okay. And he sits right where he is because he was told he's not supposed to go any further.
And he blinks at this. You are. And he steps forward a bit. Oh, the raptor backed off. Good. Can we have our sneaky person back?
Little Toad just sits there and thinks and goes, okay.
And Pep obligingly releases the sneaky goblin, who goes over to stand beside the other goblins. And then the sneaky goblin immediately says, "They hit me, but it didn't hurt all that much, but I got very woozy. It was really cool."
It was really cool.
Arnold, meanwhile, walks up to Zan and is like, I could kill all of them.
yeah,
They're pathetic.
yeah, I know. It's hard, but we have to control ourselves in these situations. Just imagine killing them instead of actually doing it. That's how I get through.
Toad will tell the goblins that what happened was called a stun.
The
Zan
goblins-
offers to demonstrate.
Toad says no.
Meanwhile, Arnold and the little raptor are like, yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely do it. It'll be great. But anyway, so the goblinoid up front sits down in the grass and says, "So, we found that you were trespassing through territory that we were living in. We did not put up any signs, so there is that. We have no way of telling you that it was our territory, but you did have a lot of things, like a lot of things. And we thought that maybe if we took a few, it would not actually inconvenience you very much because you already had so many."
Is this where we notice that all the goblins are living in perfectly square stone houses?
I don't think they were using the runes that much.
No. They had not figured out how to do that yet.
Remember
Yeah,
the
Toad
difference
will-
between a summoned brick rune and a summoned turkey leg rune.
Very
Oh.
important not to get them mixed up.
Toad nods. He understands. But the ones that they were taking were actually very important, which is why they were out, because they were being actively used.
Oh. Oh. Okay, so that was how we got caught. All right. He wipes at his face a little bit and says, "Man, we're going to run out of invisible ink before all this is over."
Toad just says, "It's okay though, because it gives you opportunity to join us."
Join? What we
Yeah.
do when we join?
Get a bowl
You-
cut.
Help work for Army.
He frowns and squints at this and says, "We work for Army.
Now, one second.
Army's." Oh, go ahead.
Zan,
Yes.
asking you on behalf of Arnold here.
Mhm.
Isn't this where Arnold would go forward and talk about, no, shit, working for the Army has been great?
I mean,
I mean,
if he
he's a
feels that way,
barbarian. They're
yeah,
barbarian-ish. Get up
yeah.
there, Arnold. Come on, Zan.
I mean, if he wants, sure.
Get up there. You.
Zan gets up there.
Nah, just
No,
take
Arnold.
Arnold. Get up there.
You're Arnold.
I'm Arnold. Oh, fine.
You said you were.
Oh, fine. No. It's great, guys. It's great. There's like food. Lots of food.
The goblins blink at this. How much food?
I don't know. A lot. He just grabs one of the runes, sprays turkey legs everywhere. Just everywhere.
It's just same as with the Raptors. That's Arnold's.
It's like-
Arnold's only ever negotiated a few times, and it's worked every time.
I mean, it's a very straightforward proposition. It's like infinite food, bitches.
Just Toad just goes, you get food and shelter and money and lots of fun with magic.
This is
Arnold is going to inform them that they don't pay very well. They only pay in silver.
oh boy.
Toad stares at Arnold and just goes, only you get silver because Zan think funny to throw at you.
You don't get paid at all because you're a mushroom.
I am sun.
You are mushroom.
I get love.
Arnold is just like, you're the sun. We understand.
So, the goblins are absolutely screeching in joy at the turkey legs. They are just going straight for them, and only one of the goblinoids actually tells them to hold back a little bit so that they can understand what just happened.
Toad explains that is a turkey leg rune. But you get better food. Magic turkey leg does not taste as good as real food.
Yeah, this was so much easier with the Raptors. I'm just saying.
Doggy! Oh, God, you're gonna kill me, man.
So is this the point where Zan
Alright.
and Terry are like, okay, come on, let's put all the runes in the bag? No, you can't keep them, Toad.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can't keep them.
Toad's not going to use the runes. That's been Arnold and the Raptor.
No,
I'm
the
just
goblin.
saying.
We all mean the goblins. Like Toad is trying to keep them.
You know, Terry thinks Toad is doing a good job
Toad
so
is
far.
definitely final boss, by
Zan
the
is-
way. Oh, it's gonna be so sad when Terry has to smite down his own child after Toad eats one too many brains and turns
It's the
evil.
Raptor that's fucking things up, guys.
No, it's all Toad's fault.
Definitely all Toad's fault. But anyway,
Anyhow, the one that's actually listening to Toad.
i.e., not Shoggy.
Hey,
So the one that's actually listening does say, "We give them back, but only if you promise there is more food and good food."
Or you could give it to us and we won't destroy your village.
No,
And
we
you.
are in leveraging position. Say again?
How are
village
you-
is 3 shacks. Arnold just looks at you as like, oh, come on, dude.
Looks at me?
He looks at you. It's like, oh, come on, dude.
They're saying they're in a leveraging
You are
position.
trying to intimidate toddlers here. The
Zan-
Raptor could take them.
Yes, exactly. And Xanis is trying to make sure they understand that. You are not in a position to leverage. Zan doesn't
Terry
take
looks
crap.
over to Zan and goes, "Do you remember how much food we actually got recently?
The rogue blew it all up.
Oh, shit, he did.
Do you know how much food we're going to get pretty soon?"
Why do you insist on keeping every little small creature that comes your way as a pet or a servant or a slave?
Those would be employees, for one.
Pokemon, yeah,
And
sure.
two, they'll be of use to us.
Uh-huh. You have enough little shits running around. You get
Look.
Boingo over here.
We can put them in Empire armor and pretend they're
Terry
human.
they were smart enough to get past us several times. With the
Boingo
only
was
one
not.
who could with the
Oh, the
only one
goblin.
who could actually tell that they were there was Snowblind for obvious reasons.
It's mostly
But
because
they
our
were working
soldiers.
in a way that Snowblind couldn't tell if they were friend or foe. They're smart enough to be useful.
Arnold informs you they're like raptors, but disposable.
It's more like our soldiers need to learn to keep their lamps on. It's kind of like, what's the point of having these see invisibility lamps if we're not just going to keep them on? I'm just saying.
Pep actually raises a finger and says, operational security, actually. If we shine the lamps around all the time, then someone invisible is going to actually test our defenses, realize that we have some precautions against that, and then try something else that we can't account for. By having the lamps as a contingency option, we can always rely on them when something goes wrong.
You should
And
congratulate
yet,
Pep on that weasel wording.
we've already had invisible people sneak into our camp and steal crap from us or blow up our food stores multiple times already.
Pep puts her fists on her hips and says, first of all, the times that people snuck into our camp, they weren't actually invisible. That rogue didn't have a potion of invisibility. He was just very sneaky, and all the lamps caught him out. Second, Snowblind was the one who actually found the perpetrator in most of the cases, and you are really mean to Snowblind and Boingo, even so.
Because Boingo shot you.
I know Boingo shot me, but also Boingo has been trying really hard to help people from the army and the camp, and you're still hilariously mean to them.
Boingo shot you. The end.
Ert
I
has
know.
done worse.
To Pep? Have you? Zan draws
Probably
his
just by existing.
Zan immediately draws his longsword on Ert and says,
Terry just
yes.
Ernie isn't even there.
Terry's gonna call out to Zan when he's like, Boingo shot you. It's like Pep already forgave Boingo.
Yeah, I'm not Pep.
Point is that I actually managed to forgive them, and you still seem to be holding a grudge on my behalf, and you act like I should be happy about it.
No, I don't. You could feel however you want.
Okay, but you're still going to act like I'm the one being unreasonable here.
No. I'm going to act like I can hold whatever grudges I fucking want to.
She sighs and just throws up her hands and says, "Whatever, Zan. If you wanna go down that route, then we can go down that route if you like."
Thumbs up.
I think the correct way for Pep to word this is, you sound like a dwarf.
You sound like Ert.
Ert doesn't hold grudges.
Ert does hold grudges.
Ert holds massive grudges.
The grudges.
It's a grudging.
Oh boy.
Get the book.
The biggest grudge he has is against elves.
Ert holds grudges against people entirely because he thinks that's what he should do as a dwarf.
That's unfortunately plausible.
Just on principle. He's like, part of his identity is that he has to hold grudges. It's a lot of work.
Like, let me tell
He's
you.
not really paying attention to you fuckers.
But yeah, I'm gonna have Terry call Zan out on that. He's just gonna kind of cross his arms and go, you're holding grudges like Ert does.
Zan does not let that phase him. It is part of his innate character, and he embraces his grudges.
He even has a gun called a Grudge Raker. That's how much he's fueled by grudges.
What if
Guns.
character, according to the story, eventually he'll learn to let go of his grudges if he has real character development.
No.
Only if he's a cliched character.
Look, character development is a limited resource. We can't just spend it willy-nilly on things where it doesn't really need to be spent.
We all get a certain amount of skill points before we hit level 100, okay?
All the goblins are looking at this like,
What the fuck is going on
is going
over there?
on?
Stop staring, or I'm going to press my circle of death button on Terry's amulet.
And Toad's like, oh, they're just debating killing you. All of you.
Yes.
Horribly.
Well, Mostly
And
painless.
eating
Death is
you.
mostly painlessly. No, I won't.
I'll
eat
be
them.
doing the eating.
Yes, you will be doing the eating, Toad.
The goblins have some questions, and the number one question is, what the hell is up with the weird glasses bird?
You stole our stuff. Give it back.
We are working out terms.
No.
Or
There's
die.
exactly. Give it back or die.
They look to each other.
Toad
They
looks
look-
back to Zan and very bluntly says, "Stop being dick."
Zan laughs out loud at this and tells Toad, "It's just who I am, Toady. It's just who I am."
Toad
Oh.
ignores you and turns back around.
Okay, so the goblins are just like, so we are talking to you, yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Knuckles crack loudly in the background.
okay.
Ignore bird.
So we give you back all of these shiny glowy things, and you give us at least some food, yes? Enough for everyone here to eat.
Arnold just looks at Zan and is like, can I?
Get food?
Toad thinks and then goes and asks if they're not interested in joining.
Oh, not more Pokemon.
Well, we have to see if the food is good first. You can tell that, like, he's definitely willing to join. It's just that he wants to make sure that he has a good amount of food from all of this, too.
Okay, are Pokemon acceptable if we just treat them as Empire soldiers and just have one goblin with a hat on?
Zan just sighs at another Pokemon gathering attempt by Toad and Terry.
Terry's done none of this. This has all been Toad.
I mean, Toad learned from the best.
Well,
Terry's very smug about this.
He's very smug about this, and Toad
He's very-
learned from
he's-
Terry.
He's not smug, he's proud.
Smug.
Impossibly smug. I'm sorry, Terry. It's terminal. You got a terminal case of smug.
Yeah, smug.
You try to slap that smug look on his face right off, but underneath, hidden under that, is another smaller, smugger face.
It's true.
Uh-huh.
So, the goblinoids, they are willing to work with this whole arrangement on the promise that they will both get food and also that scary guy does not get to murder them. Either of the scary guys.
Arnold,
Toad will accept these terms.
Zan purposefully does not.
Arnold is just really sad he hasn't been able to fire turkey legs out of his arms.
Oh, boy.
I mean, that's
So-
his shtick. And it wasn't called for.
So the goblinoid steps up to Toad and says, okay, then we have deal, yes? We shake on it?
Yes. Toad will shake on it.
Okay. And so the goblinoid reaches out, grabs Toad by the head, and shakes him, and then puts him down again. We have shaken, but not stirred.
So I think we should take the mustache goblin and put an Empire hat on him and pretend that all of this never happened.
We're not going to pretend that none of this ever happened.
But why not? It's so embarrassing for everyone involved, especially Shoggy.
Hey, I got to control Arnold. I was here.
You did get to control Arnold, and then Arnold didn't get to do anything fun.
Yes.
What we have now is another faction that we can use and act in any of our army combat type things.
Our faction is 5 guys. Burgers and fries.
Yeah, but anytime we can use a resource, we now have a stealth crew.
It is true. You have an
The CRT is just sitting here like, yeah, you guys needed stealth. Yeah, fine. What are we? Chopped liver?
We have more than one stealth crew.
You know, I feel like the understanding here is that Toad is in charge of them. These are the Toadlings. It's like while
will
Toad is
literally
talking to
name
them,
them-
all the adults are just going to walk forward, take the runes, and leave. Toad is still negotiating after we
It's
left.
Toad's new scene. It's Toad's new safety force.
Okay, so here is something that is legitimately going to happen as a result of this. These guys are actually going to join the camp, and you guys are going to get 6 new soldiers. They are going to be regiment trained, and they have something special for you.
Oh.
They share their the last dregs of their bottle of invisible ink.
Ooh.
So this invisible ink, it is not an invisibility potion. It basically makes anything covered by the ink invisible until it is wiped off. So it is a pretty powerful thing that they have, and they have been very, very proud of how they've been using it. Except that they, almost ran out.
So they don't have much left, so they're super useless.
Well, we took the last dregs as part of inducting them.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, everything that's not standard gear and kit, pour it out.
And as for the other
Zan
goblins,
takes the ink and just rubs it on his glasses. Now they have no function.
I would not rub the ink on my glasses. I would not ruin my beautiful glasses that way.
Okay, you can rub them on Arnold instead.
Yeah, or on Ert's forehead.
Meanwhile,
Or
one
just
of the
has a hole in
goblins,
his forehead, and that's not understandable why everyone's laughing.
So Toad, you have gotten your own set of sub-Pokemon you've learned in the best style. And then, from that moment onward, Zan, you notice that the goblins are always finding random creatures to capture and cook. And one of the goblins consistently serves you meals.
What type of food? Is it mystery meat?
No. You look at it, it's like, oh, a prairie dog.
I'm not a bird. I am a bird, but like I'm not.
What did it? Wait. So what did they bring up?
From this point onwards, as they are traveling with you, one of the goblins specifically continuously catches little woodland critters and cooks them and brings meals to Zan.
What does he say when he does it?
Here, I made extra food. You can have extra food because you are very thin.
they're trying to make sure that you're healthy and strong.
Zan hates them.
They're trying to be nice.
I know. Zach thinks it's cute. Zan hates them.
Oh boy.
I look weak to you. You
You
what?
are very thin.
I'm
You're-
strong.
You're strong, just thin.
It's my feathers are poofy. Okay. Zan puffs out his feathers some more.
You should grow more feathers.
I'm not. Are you saying I'm balding? I'm losing my I'm molting.
No, it's just that there can be more feathers.
Zan is confused and upset,
Confused, upset, angry bird noises.
and now very self-conscious. Midlife crisis activated. He just goes off into a corner muttering, "I hate Pokemon. I hate Pokemon. I hate Pokemon. I hate Pokemon."
The little goblins are just trying so hard to be nice to Zan and trying to look out for him.
Dude, Zan does not. Just stop trying to be nice to Zan, okay?
Hell, I imagine one of the goblins just like brings like a spit roasted squirrel on his like to Terry, and he's just like, "Ooh, squirrel!"
Go for Everett.
Like they don't have to say anything to him. He's just like, "Squirrel, ooh, thank you."
And they find Terry to be much more agreeable, of course. Which is surprising to absolutely no one for any reason.
One day, Zan is still, for some reason, refusing these offerings of woodland creatures. Terry just calls out from the distance, just, "Are you gonna eat that?"
Hmm.
Oh, boy. So, that is more or less it for this particular little bit of nonsense. You have gathered some more people, and you are creating your very own bridge over the lake.
Yay. The army grows.
We're gonna go to L24, right?
Yep. You are going to get to all the way to L24.
Now, 1 second. I'd like to call attention from everyone here.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a giant mushroom.
There is.
There is indeed a
Is
giant
that where we're
mushroom.
going next?
Are we gonna have should we have another visit with Lakimo to let her check in on Toad?
I mean, that would be in character.
Zan, how much do you object to this?
Sorry, I was looking at that video you linked me. Say that again.
Oh, you should watch that video. It's great.
Oh yeah.
The
But-
mushrooms.
Mushroom.
Like, is that inevitable? That's my real question.
Are
Should we head
mushrooms
over there?
inevitable?
Like, look at the
There-
map.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map. Why do you say are mushrooms like? I don't think we
Should
don't
we
have
head that
to.
way?
We
'Cause-
could.
Like, does the fact that we are mushroom related plot wise inevitably draw us towards it? That's the question.
um.
Because we could check in with Lakimo and let her, have a little check in with Toad.
But there's other directions we could go.
Maybe Dave is there.
Dave's everywhere.
Dave's everywhere. Dave is.
Dave's great.
Dave's an eldritch horror.
Dave was even there at Dave's funeral, man. Dave was great. Yes, was great.
Really paid respects to Dave.
Zan wants to go wherever is safest because that's his job.
Look, I'm just pointing out that, plot wise, it's very hard for us not to go straight for the mushroom next.
Fair. I mean, if that's what you feel, let's do it.
Like, I'm just saying that there's no point having a vote if we're all obviously going to the mushroom.
Becky, do you want mushroom?
I kind of do, but only because I feel like it has a lot of plot points for everyone, not just Toad.
All right. Then we are going to head to the mushroom next time and revel in the fact that you have basically compromised the borders of the big old nation up north of you.
Like, look, they can just put some border agents here. It'll be fine.
Terry will specifically contact Asshole Patrol to let them know about the bridge and the extra recruitment.
And the immediate response from the patrol is like, oh, there's a separate way other than dealing with all their goddamn paperwork? Thank fuck.
Yeah.
You would not believe the amount of time.
Look, we have done a great job of improving infrastructure in this backwards nation.
Terry advises Asshole Patrol get someone out here before that capital actually realizes the bridge exists.
Yeah, they're sending someone right away. Oh, that is more or less that. That is session 16.
Oh, someone counted?
Oh, what did they think about the taking in the small goblin troop?
The patrol is actually pleased with this because there's a lot of racial violence against goblins, and they're very happy to see that you guys are willing to actually give them a chance.
Yes, so willing.
Like, I feel like the patrol is like, wait. Were they actually goblin bandits, or were they just 6 random goblins you kidnapped?
There were 6 goblins living out on their own, in their own tiny little tribe, trying to scrape their way by. And a lot of people see that and they just say, oh, free loot and experience.
And instead, we recruited them.
They're valuable Empire soldiers now, contributing to the economy
The Empire economy.
of souls. Away!
Gob-
No soul experiments on the goblins.
Mm,
And so, we will leave off there with now Arnold and Toad being full members. I hope that you are pleased with how they have grown and what they have decided to do with themselves.
If anyone betrays Terry and his plans, Toad knows Eldritch Blast.
It's true, he does. He didn't get to use it today, though.
No, he did once.
Oh, true.
He did it to show off.
Or Urt's just trying to put it into runes. Well, it was a good run.
Indeed. And now, unfortunately, we are all doomed to die.
No.
the Toad, the big bad.
Yep, Toad's
Just
gonna
Toad
eat everyone.
looming on the horizon, willing to eat your brains.
Yep.
All right, you giant nerds. Take care, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful evening or afternoon or whichever it is for everyone watching on YouTube at whatever time this goes up.
People watch this?
People do. We get
Wait, are we recording?
What?
we do get like fucking
Oh
god.
my god, that Craig guy, he's stalking us. We gotta
Oh
get
my
out of here.
God.
Ugh.
Guys, no.
I was gonna say, don't we get a good couple dozen?
Oh yeah, we get about 50 views on the on just about every Regiment on the Run episode.
Which is nice. People actually listen.
It is nice. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being alongside of us. And I hope that you have a wonderful evening as well. Take care.
Hi, guys.